Some shows talk about one team. Other shows barely talk sports. This show will talk Packers, Brewers, and Bucks. Every day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily with Steve Sparky Pfeiffer on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
It is time to go again here on a Monday. How are y'all doing on a Monday afternoon? Sun is out here in southeastern Wisconsin. I'm not sure how it's looking there in Green Bay and Appleton if you're listening on WNFL, or Duluth Superior or in Wausau if you guys are listening on to the game there, or in Milwaukee. I know you all are looking at sun like we are on the fan, but it's still freaking cold out, man. It is still freaking cold. And I know it's March. My kid's travel ball team starts playing baseball games for real next month. So we're about a month away. I need this to get to at least the 50s, Charlie, on a semi-regular basis in April.
Supposed to be like 40 for the next week or so. That's pretty good. We're getting there. We're getting somewhere.
It would be nice.
That's like sweatshirt weather.
I would like. No.
How is that not so?
Definitely not. Look at me.
Okay,
I got
it could be
a shirt on. I got
out,
something on over that, and I got 3 layers on right now.
It could be 90 degrees out. You'd be wearing that same jacket. It doesn't matter.
It's too damn cold. Coming up on today's show, Tommy Wirtz, host of Spring Training Live, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, coming up tonight, 5 to 7 p.m., as well as the rest of the week, Monday through Friday. They're out there in Arizona, Maryville, Arizona, American Family Fields, where the Brewers play their spring training games. Him and Tim Allen are out there, and lots of craziness already, Charlie, as expected.
Seems like it, again, from what
everything I told Tommy before he left pretty much has happened. I warned him about Tim not wanting to be early for the airport and wanting to be late. I told him about Tim's luck in the casinos. I warned him about that. Pretty much everything I heard him on Inside Wisconsin Sports earlier today, and I heard him on Mason Crosby's show. Everything has pretty much come to fruition like I warned him.
And again, like I told you before, I would have killed Tim by now.
You would have killed Tim by now. Yeah, absolutely. You would have killed Tim. And Tommy has the patience of a saint. So Tommy's all good. So Tommy Wirtz will join us coming up here in about 15, 17 minutes or so from right now. Also, Green and Gold update time. Ian Cummings from Pro Football Sports Network will tell us about the risers and the fallers of the NFL Draft Combine down in Indianapolis. Now that has wrapped up, we get Ian Cummings on to talk about that coming up at 4 o'clock. So reports are from Shams Charania, who's been wrong on everything he said about Giannis, but he says that Giannis is playing tonight. The Bucks are listing Giannis as questionable. My question is simple. Is it too little, too late bringing Giannis back now? Does it matter at this point? Like, what's the point of it? That's what I know from you as a Bucks fan. Now, if he plays tonight against the Celtics, that's great, because that means people going to the game tonight get to see Giannis. And considering the fact that nobody really knows how long he's going to be a Buck at this point, he may be a Buck till he retires or otherwise, but you still don't know. So you still have a chance to see Giannis at least for several games before the end of this season if he were to get traded in the offseason. So from that perspective, as a fan, it's great. From a standing standpoint right now, they are 3 back of the Charlotte Hornets. The Bucks 26-33. The Charlotte Hornets are 30-31. Atlanta 31-31. Miami 32-29. Orlando 31-28. That is where we currently sit. They play 82 games a year. We are at 59 games as we sit, with the Bucks chasing the Hornets by 3 games. Now, could the Bucks chase down the Hornets and potentially get into the play-in tournament if they were to catch fire with Giannis? Sure. It's possible that could occur. Or Giannis comes back and this doesn't potentially get any better. Now, the one thing we do know is with Giannis, they were at 500. We know that. He hasn't played since January 23rd. They are 8-7 in those games since Giannis went out. So a game over 500. The Bucks have looked brutally horrible the last 2 games. There is absolutely no reason to lose to that Bulls team who, I don't care what their record is currently, since the trade deadline, they're the worst team in basketball. They're horrible, Charlie.
That was their first win since the trade deadline.
Yes.
First
absolutely.
win of February, too.
Yeah, that's good. They got it in just under the gun. Almost had a winless February. Glad the Bucks can help out. That just cannot be a thing. And we were sitting here last week going, man, when Giannis comes back, as well as this team is playing right now, is things going to change? Are they going to start holding the ball and so forth? You want to know what's going on? I'll tell you what's going on. A lot of one-on-one play in basketball. Spacing was not good in the second half of that basketball game either. They got on at the end of the second quarter in that Bulls game, and I tweeted it out. I was like, they really didn't play well for the last 4 minutes. And then they hit a couple of shots at the end of the first half, AJ Green, and they get it up to, 15 or whatever? And I said, now let's see if they can actually hold on to it versus squander it. And within, 5 minutes maybe of the third quarter, 4 minutes of the third quarter, it was down to a 2-point game? I quote tweeted that tweet. I was like, I guess not. Guess not. Completely squandered it. And then got absolutely obliterated the rest of the game. That whole second half. Yeah. That was so frustrating. And then people are tweeting at me, well, Sparky, do you really want him to be in the playoffs? No. But it's too damn late now. Listen, you are stuck in the middle of nowhere land. That's where you're stuck. You're stuck in the middle of nowhere because now you've put together too many wins with this group since the trade deadline to really screw yourself with the best potential chance of having a lottery pick. And now you've regressed again in the last couple of games. And now you're adding a new element in Giannis that now the style of play is going to change. It just is. When you have a guy coming in who has the gravitas of a Giannis, it's going to change. So you're going to have another transition period that goes along with it. No Jaylen Brown tonight by the sounds of it. So that helps. Now, I'd love to tell you, Giannis back, no Jaylen Brown, no Tatum, Bucks win. I can't say that. I can't tell you in good faith that, oh, yeah, they're going to win tonight. There's absolutely no way. And we don't know how many minutes Giannis is going to play if he plays. Because I thought I had read weeks ago that they did not want to go through this whole minutes restriction thing again. They wanted him just to come back and play to play, did not play 20 minutes, and then he's got to come out. Oh, it's a close game. Too bad. Got to come over here and sit down because we don't want you to hurt your calf again. So if they're actually bringing him back to actually go full bore here the rest of the way, then, okay, that makes some sense. But if we're bringing him back to play 20 minutes here, 20 minutes there, and then in a week, my calf, and out he goes again, that was a complete waste of time. The only reason you're playing to try to get into the play-in tournament, the only reason you're playing to try to make the playoffs is because of that dude. Because that dude can't handle not being in the playoffs. It just, he can't comprehend how that works. It just doesn't make any sense. Even though you're screwing your future by trying to appease this guy, that's what we're doing right now. It's so frustrating as being a Bucks fan right now because you're being pulled in both ways. Oh, they're good. Oh, look at the future. Oh, look, they got some young guys. That goes, Jang? Ha! No, thank you. And now with Giannis coming back, Jang ain't going to play. Ain't no chance he's going to play. He's going to sit on that bench and rot and watch. Then over the weekend, I get a text. Was it Friday night or Saturday night? Whatever. Hey, why isn't Gary Trent been playing? They haven't needed him to play. They were doing fine without Gary Trent. There was no reason to play Gary Trent.
Frankly, he wasn't playing well before they stopped playing him. So why would you want to?
Right. Yeah. But nobody even brought up Gary Trent to me for 2 weeks. Haven't played in a long time. But now we're asking where Gary Trent is. I mean, I don't know. Again, and then I see people on Twitter. I don't know why Jimmy Haslam's to blame. Because it's easy. That's why. It's easy. It's easy to blame. Him nor Edens have come out and said boo to anybody all season. Nothing. Nada. In hiding. Nowhere to be found. Nothing.
And anything that has been attributed to them has been from Peter Fagan, has been
and
from
Fagan's
other
gone.
people talking about what those guys are trying to do. No word from them at all. And
nothing.
Haslam's talked about the Browns plenty of times this offseason.
He's been having pressers in Cleveland.
Yeah. He's happy to talk about that dumpster fire. Why doesn't he want to talk about this one sometimes?
And I'm guessing Jimmy Haslam would say, ain't my deal. Like, Wesley Edens is the governor in this deal. Let him talk about it. It's his deal. even though we just hired a guy from Jimmy Haslam Sports to come in and run this program.
Exactly.
Which
makes it more your problem, dude.
Absolutely. Absolutely it does. You replace Fagan with one of Jimmy Haslam's guys. Hate to break it to you, but there's going to be even more finger pointing at you for whichever direction this goes in, kind of going forward. It is such a frustrating deal to be a fan, because the one place you do not want to be as an NBA fan is what? You want to be in purgatory. That's where we lived under Herb Cole for all those years, was in purgatory, because Herb had to make the playoffs. Had to just get in the playoffs. 8 seed, 7 seed, that's good enough. Just be in the middle. Just whatever happens, don't be horrible, because I want to make sure we put butts in seats at the Bradley Center. And I'd love a little playoff share at the end, too, if we can get into the playoffs. That's what it was about. We cannot go back to that again, because that gets you nowhere. You will never, ever build a championship and sustain that type of level of success if you decide to go that route.
Well, and I think even more so nowadays, you see teams floundering in that kind of purgatory. The team that you just lost to in the Chicago Bulls has been stuck in purgatory for the past 5 seasons. That's one of those teams. The Sacramento Kings are stuck in that purgatory. And Bulls fans this past trade deadline were excited that the Bucks or the Bulls finally started to move on from players and get guys out of there that were helping this team too much, because that means they were finally ready to lose some games. Bulls fans are happier right now that they hadn't won a game in the whole month of February until the Bucks. That's exactly where they want to be, and sometimes you need to be at that point. I don't think the Bucks are at that point yet, but to what you're saying, you have to start getting worried that they're going to get to that point if they continue with stuff like this. When you have those really high highs and all of a sudden have these really low lows, that only leaves you with that purgatory middle space.
Correct. And as we've talked about a million times, you are going to end up with another superstar in this town, in Milwaukee, in Wisconsin. If you're going to get to that point, it's going to come through the draft. You're not signing anybody to come over here and play. It's just not happening.
Or you're trading for somebody and you're trying to find ways to, but you need a genius GM to be able to pull that off, which Horst is good. He's been able to do crazy things in the past, but his magic's running out.
Realistically, even if you trade somebody for somebody, right? Oh, we're going to trade for Zion Williamson because he played 32 straight games. Woo! And then the streak was over. But that was a big deal because he finally stayed healthy for 32 games. Then you trade for Zion Williamson. You trade for John Morant, whoever. Guess what? After that year is done, or those 2 years are done, or whatever is left in that star's contract, he's out. He's not staying. It's not happening. That's why the fact that you got 13 years out of Giannis is quite amazing, that he stayed here this entire time. And who knows, maybe he'll sign the Supermax in October and you'll get another 3 or 4 years out of him. That would be amazing too. But there is a lot of work to be done with this roster if you're going to get to that point anytime soon. Coming up next, we will talk with Tommy Wirtz, co-host of Spring Training Live, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, each night this week, Monday through Friday, from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. with the franchise Tim Allen. Definitely are not going to want to miss that. Tommy comes up next. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here. Welcome back. It is Wisconsin Sports Daily. C. Sparky Fiber with you. Charlie Usen producing today as always. Spring Training Live, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, comes up tonight from 5 to 7 each night of this week, Monday through Friday, with the franchise Tim Allen and this guy Tommy Wirtz, who you will also hear hosting the leadoff show 1 hour before every Brewers game throughout the season as well. Tommy's going to be a busy guy in the summer. Mason Crosby show, leadoff show, plus you have the post-game show as well. Be a busy, busy summer from Tommy Wirtz. He joins us now from beautiful Arizona, where they are. They landed yesterday. The first show is coming up tonight. Good afternoon, Tommy. How are you?
Good afternoon, gentlemen. How are we doing in Milwaukee? First of all, actually, shout out to Charlie Usen for this week because he's going to be working extra hard as well. And I know that today is promo day, and Sparky doesn't take breaks on promos. So whoever is taking care of that today.
Sparky's actually being very forgiving this week.
We're
okay.
We're in conversations.
We're in conversation, so we'll see.
Okay. The negotiations for promo day have begun. So shout out to whoever does the promos as well.
What I realized was Mitch Nellis needs to be trained on a lot more stuff. That's what I realized.
On everything.
Yeah, yes. Needs to be trained on a lot more stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But either way, that's behind the curtain stuff. Okay, so Tommy Wirtz, I heard your storytelling this morning on Inside Wisconsin Sports. I was just laughing hysterically in the car for 20 minutes listening to your experience with the franchise Tim Allen, because as we all know, I've done that trip with Tim for a decade or longer, however long it was with Tim Allen. Then I heard him talking about food etiquette is going to be a conversation tonight. And I agree with nothing whatsoever that man says about food etiquette. Nothing at all. Like, He is something else when it comes to that. And then that doesn't even include like staying in a hotel room with him and how he acts when you're in a hotel room with him. It's even worse because like he is of the belief that, hey man, if you work in whatever industry, it ain't my job to pick up after myself. It's your job to pick up after me. So that's kind of how he goes about life. And I can't do that, man. Like, I'm always picking up my table or food or whatever.
I think this is a nice way of you calling Tim a slob, which is
not
totally
in his house.
Okay.
Not in his house.
Okay.
Outside of his house. And like I said, if there's a service industry. So like if you're like in a hotel room with Tim or whatever the case may be, and he's down with something, he just chucks it across the inside of the hotel room. They'll pick it up. I was like, what are you doing? And then if there's food on the table at a fast food place, leave it, Stevie. It's fine. They'll pick it up. They'll take care of it. Don't worry about it. No, I'm putting it away. So yeah, that's how the man operates.
This stems from one of the videos at WI Sports Radio. If you want to follow along on Twitter for spring training updates from Tim Allen and myself
and
over the next week as we, so he slammed beer on the ground, which we got a talking to for anyway. But regardless,
I saw the video.
I threw the beer away. And he's like, I have so much content with you now, Tommy. Like, just for throwing away a beer.
Yes.
Apparently, that is the craziest thing ever. Like, he thinks the world is a Texas Roadhouse.
Yes.
And you just throw the peanuts
Correct.
wherever you want.
Yes.
But I threw away one beer, and I asked him if he was done with his nachos, and threw away his nachos. Now, again, this was 14 steps away from where we were sitting, the garbage can. I mean, I was back in 1 minute, and apparently bananas from Tim Allen that I threw away garbage at this. And I assume he hasn't really told me what the segment is, but the idea went off in his head, and I saw it happen in real time as I did that. So I assume that's the conversation about ballpark food etiquette.
Because you're at a baseball stadium, it's their job to pick up after you. So he leaves it right there under his seat and doesn't throw it out.
Make somebody's job easier.
No, not him. No.
And for both of you guys, I come from baseball. I was guys picking up the stuff that people spiked on the ground. Like, I know the struggle of small baseball city and trying to make it, as presentable and nice. We in Wilmer, we would wipe down every single seat every single day.
Yep.
And you did that because if there was bird poop on a seat, you would be like, that's the most embarrassing thing ever. And I never really appreciated it until we went to Rochester for a game. And I went as a fan, and my assigned seat, this place sold 200 tickets maybe, and there was no one else there in attendance, and you could sit wherever you really wanted, but my assigned seat, bird poop on it. And I thought, that is the most disrespectful thing ever. And now I finally understand why we wipe down all 1,200 seats every single night. So yeah, picking up one beer can, I'll live with the etiquette argument tonight.
For those,
and my God, Sparky, the luckiest guy I've ever met in my life is Tim freaking Allen. I mean, it's unbelievable. I've never played video poker ever before in my life. Okay, I'd never played it ever. And Tim's like, just read me the cards, and we'll play a hand. I'll play a hand, you play a hand. Right. I'll play a hand, you play a hand. My first hand ever, I hit for $30 on a dollar bet. I mean, I was way ahead of the game. I'll be like, now don't clap yet, because I walked away with $0. But I told this story today on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. I was talking to someone as I sat in a machine, and right next to me, Tim just throws in, $20 or whatever. Yeah. And the first spin, he's like, what happened? What happened? I turn, and he's in a bonus. He hit a bonus on the first spin. And he was like, I just want to make $9. Let's make $9 today. That's all I want. $9. And he made $16 through 7 of the 8 free spins. And then I see the last spin coming. It's got a ×3 wild, ×3 wild, ×3 wild, $130 on a $1.25 spin. I mean, just Tim freaking Allen, man. And we've had a very productive day today, even though we are not really very obligated to do much other than the shows and the hits that we got on. Brewers are off today. Super excited to hit the ground running tomorrow as they go up against Great Britain. Jacob Mizorowski on the bump for him to start things off, his first appearance of spring. But this morning, the West Coast time, and we're only an hour behind, but I've been getting up earlier and earlier now as I become this old man in front of your eyes.
You are.
And I was up before 5 a.m. Arizona time today. I started working before Tim Allen was even awake today. That's how early I was up. I set up all the equipment, got us all ready to go. We ended up going to a card shop today that we got a great story from a guy who, he used to go to this card shop, and then all of a sudden he owns it now. We went to this Mexican restaurant that was awesome today. It is a rough week for the diet, but it is just a blast right now in Arizona. I already told Crosby and Mitch, I don't think I'm coming back. I don't think, like, on Saturday, I might stay. I might purposely
miss the flight
because
be careful.
I've already determined I will be.
Tim Allen did that to me in Vegas, where we were a group. We got to the airport. Tim's like, I'll go talk to somebody. Give me somebody. So he talks to somebody, comes back, and he's like, sorry, guys, we missed the flight. We're like, what? We missed the flight. And then I find out years later that he lied, that we had plenty of time to catch it, but he had money left, so he wanted to stay. So we all ended up staying. A couple of people were completely broke, but he wanted to stay, so he lied to all of us, and we ended up staying in Vegas for another night.
And I believe it's so hard because, again, just for being with this guy for 24 straight hours, you have no idea what the power of your words can do, because this guy has talked to we got off the plane. Okay. We got off the plane in Phoenix, and we're heading to get the rental car, and we're going to get the rental car. And this kid, his name's Justin, and he was great. He was very helpful. And we were talking with him for a little bit. And as we're trying to situate this rental car, Tim just over here like, so Justin, where's that upgrade coming on this rental car? And Justin's like, it's literally my second day, dude. I have no idea what's going on. I don't know how. He's like, I can slip you a little bill. We don't need the company to know about this or anything. And Justin is just like, Tim, I can't help you. I don't know how to help you. I've never done this before. So we get through. We had a manager come over. He's just talking, and no upgrade. And we get down. We go down to where we get the rental car, and there's another like liaison concierge type lady handing us the keys. Yep. And Tim, he's not quitting, man. Persistency. He's like, how about an upgrade? So sure enough, instead of a Corolla, we're driving around a Chrysler minivan because we got a free upgrade. He asked 3 different people for an upgrade until he got one on the car.
Yep.
And he got it, and he's killing it down here. And just the way this guy is so personable with everyone is unbelievable. And as someone who feels like they do great with people, but not always like on par with I want to talk to people all the time, it couldn't be the exact opposite of Tim Allen. He just wants to hear everyone's story. He wants everyone to feel included, involved, whether it's Brewers baseball or a Chrysler minivan. This guy will have a conversation with you.
So now the post game is a little bit different, right? I mean, if you don't take the spring training trip, you're kind of figuring each other out week by week, doing the shows. But being there for a week with Tim Allen now is going to change the post game show and how y'all roll.
Well, I feel like a lot of people came into this mindset of like warning Tommy about Tim. I'm going to warn you, he's going to get there late. Oh, he's going to figure it out. He's going to find his way. Like, I love going to the casino just as much as Tim Allen does. I love like getting stuff that shouldn't be given to me as much as Tim Allen does. He's actually just showing me how to be a better degenerate. Like it is working out perfectly for me because I am like, I have to grow up and be like Tim Allen. Otherwise something went wrong here. Yes.
He's going to change it. Yeah, no question about that. What's coming up?
I might start smoking. If I start smoking Marlboros, do I get like a 15-minute work break at work, or is that like not in the contract?
Hey man, y'all do what you got to do. All I'm saying is I just don't want this studio to smell like an ashtray. So y'all do what you got to do. But I don't want the studio because that dude smells like an ashtray when he's doing a post-game show. So I don't want the whole studio smelling like an ashtray. Otherwise, I'm going to get some of those plug-in scented things. I'm going to put 6 of them in, and it's going to smell like a beauty salon instead.
One more quick story here before we go. You've told me also, like, Tim's noon to 3, there's going to be a nap in there somewhere, right? Noon to 3, there's going to be some sort of nap. And we went to go, it's 11:45, and I'm finishing up a hit on Crosby's show. And Tim Allen is like, all right, let's get lunch. Like, as I'm on air, he's like, lunch. I'm hungry, lunch.
Yep.
And I'm finishing up here, and he sent me a text. He's like, I'm already in the car waiting. Like, when you're ready to go, I'm ready to go get lunch. and so I get in the car. We drive 4 minutes to this little Mexican restaurant. It was delicious. The food was awesome. Tim gets a plate of tacos. He's got the rice and beans, and we're going to pay. And I've never seen nap personified on a person so hard in my life, where I'm like, this dude is about to nap hard. I mean, he is ready for this nap. He just had 4 tacos and a full plate of rice and beans.
Yep.
Like, the nap is going to hit like crack for him.
Yes.
And we got in the door. He maybe went to the bathroom and his door was closed. Like, he is out right now currently. I am screaming in the living room 10 feet away from him, and he is out like a light. So we're coming up. We get a little nap in before the show tonight.
I heard y'all are heading to Talking Stick Resort tonight to try that casino out, huh?
I mean, when in Rome, right? I mean, there's just if there's a casino that wants us there, we will be there this week.
I know this.
Whenever we can.
You better enjoy your day today, because after today, they get to be very, very long days out there, because you're in the clubhouse by 7:45, and then you're going all day. You're cutting up all these interviews. So for those of you listening, you're going to hear different interviews that Tommy and Tim do, different Brewers players, coaches, whatever the case may be. You're going to hear a different one on each show throughout the days going ahead here on every show. So not only will you hear even different interviews from those, but you're going to have Brewer interview with Tim and Tommy on every show the rest of the week starting tomorrow. So it's going to be cool. It's going to be a lot of Brewers coverage. They had their fun here for the last day or so. And now it'll be time to get down to work starting tomorrow. And then tonight, obviously, will be a fun show that with a lot of laughter, I'm sure. I'm telling you, we're going a little bit past the last 2 vacation days. We got to enjoy a little bit of the ballpark yesterday. Surprise, a beautiful field for the Royals. We did our due diligence. Again, we got there, and our flight got delayed, so we were a little late getting to this game, and the media credential exit had not opened. And Tim's like, well, wait till we get to an entrance, and I'll talk to someone. We're going to get in. And we went to 3 different entrances before the lady was like,
just come in. Yeah, sure, fine. What are you gonna do? And you can't make this up too, where we walk in and they are like, last call, and Tim's like, we're coming down the way on the other side, like just ready for a one beer. Can we get one beer in before this? And it's beautiful. But spring training live tonight. We're going to hear from a whole bunch of Brewers over the weekend. Chad Patrick, Trevor McGill, they both got their spring training debuts in this week. I'm telling you this, Spark. Did you see the quantum leap prediction for Pat Murphy with David Hamilton? Did you see this?
Yeah.
I don't have a 2026 quantum leap prediction quite yet, but 2027 Shane Drowan, I'm ready for this guy to take the Brewers over. I think it's going to be a Corbin Burns relief type year for the guy. And then 2027, he's going to crack the rotation. He's going to get meaningful major league outs this year. He spoke a little bit this weekend. We'll have him on the show. And then the rest of the week is going to be, like you said, we're going to hit the hard nose grind. I'm ready for it. I've been waiting. I'm itching to do it. And if any inclination of we have to be there at 7:45 in the morning is like not going to be a problem, like I said, I was up at 4:45 today, setting up a Comrex unit, setting up a plum case to make sure that we were all ready to go, just because I had nothing better to do.
That's good. Here he is, Tommy Wirtz. He is having fun. His first adventure with the franchise. Tim Allen, one of many, many more to come. Has he talked to you about going to Vegas to do the show with him yet this year? Because that is something else he plans on doing.
So he's brought up Vegas trips 2 times since we've been here already. One is when the Brewers are out in Vegas taking on the Athletics.
Yep.
And then the other one is like, what if we just take the rental car right now? What if we just went right now to Vegas?
We've done that on spring. Where you just go, or you take a short flight. It's not that short. You hit Vegas and you're back right away. Yeah. Oh yeah. No hotel room. You just are up all night.
Yeah. I can only hope that at 61 years old that I could be like, let's go out every single day. He played a band gig on Saturday night. Correct. He was in Kenosha or Racine, just ripping, shredding his guitar, and then got up for his flight in the morning, barely, and then got to Phoenix.
That's normal.
And now he's like, we're going to the casino, ready to go, ready to get after it. And I'm trying to keep up with Tim right now.
Yes.
This isn't Tim trying to. I'm learning, and I'm also being dragged around by Tim Allen in Phoenix right now, and I can't wait for the rest of this week.
So
I'm super excited to get down to the clubhouse.
You fly back Saturday?
We're supposed to, if Tim makes it. I don't know if we're going to make it.
I'm telling you right now, your liver better prepare for Friday night when you're done. You better just be prepared. Shots. There's going to be lots of alcohol Friday night. So just better be. I'm just warning you now on your liver Friday night, because Saturday odds are you will be hungover flying home.
I hope. That's what I'm looking for right now. I was going to say I hope not, but I don't really believe that. I would rather just go out here in Phoenix and be a part of this. This is my first time ever in Arizona. It's my first time ever going to spring training. And for that, I will say I did some reading on the plane on the ride over, because I don't know what else I was going to do on this plane. And it was actually the Inner Excellence book that A.J. Brown got caught reading on the sideline. We have it in the studio right next to you on the left over there in that pile of books. No, I have my own copy. I was going to do a segment on the Crosby show of it that it never really came to fruition. But 90% of what you've accomplished has been given to you. If you realize that, you'll understand gratitude. And for this, I am extremely grateful, not just for what Tim Allen, but for you guys sending me down here, jumping on to do a couple of different segments every once in a while on a show. I understand that everyone wants to come out and say it's all hard work and work ethic. I also got some pretty awesome people down there in Milwaukee, up there in Milwaukee. I have no idea where I am, as you can tell.
Maybe you should take a nap.
It's already been long.
Nap is definitely on the horizon. I can't wait to do spring training live tonight, 5:00 Central Standard Time. It's going to be a blast, and this entire week's going to be great. This entire season's going to be awesome. I can't wait.
Wait till you hear the open for your show tonight. Just you.
Oh my God! Is it just people barfing from alcohol intoxication?
Our guy John McDonough put together an open for you. Yes, he did for this show. No. Stay tuned for that tonight.
Shout out to McD for the week too.
Yeah.
Shout out to McD for the week. Are you guys bored yet? Is there like way less interesting conversation going on a Monday than there usually is?
Well, besides this segment, no, I got a full show lined up. I bumped talking about Aaron Jones and Javon Hargrave potentially being Packers to get you on the show.
You don't want Aaron Jones back in Green Bay.
Javon
Hargrave would be cool on paper.
Javon Hargrave was really good with Gannon in Philadelphia. And we're going to get to that segment coming up at 3:20 because I'm not bumping it completely. But yeah, I want both of them back. I'll take both of them. Thank you so much, Tommy Wirtz. Enjoy, be safe at Talking Stick Resort. And as always, looking forward to the videos. X, Instagram. Tommy's going to have you going throughout the night. I cannot wait. It's been a lot of fun just following along with y'all. It's been fun.
At WI Sports Radio on Twitter, on Instagram. It's an adventure already. Yeah. It's not going to be an adventure. I don't even know if we've started. I don't even know if this is the beginning. I don't even know if
you haven't gone through the Pat Murphy experience yet, because that's going to be embarrassing. I bet you. And then whatever he says in the clubhouse around the guys, that will also, I probably at some point or another, he'll say something like, holy crap, did you really just say that to that person? Yeah, there's going to be some of those moments.
I've experienced that with waitresses already with him. Yes! So I can't imagine in a locker room. It is like Tim Allen, he is a First Amendment truther. Absolutely, he is. That's what we should call him. Instead of the franchise, we should call him the First Amendment. That should be his nickname. Because Tim's just saying what's on his mind because Tim can. And this is America, damn it.
Damn it, you're right. There you go. Tommy Wirtz, enjoy your trip, buddy.
Thanks, guys. Miss you. Love you too, Spark.
Yeah, love you, Tommy. Bye-bye. There he goes. Tommy Wirtz joining us on the guest hotline. Powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. Charlie, are you jealous?
No. I think I like Tim right now. I think if I went on this trip with Tim, I would not like Tim very much anymore. Everything I've heard so far, I would have to sit as far away from him at restaurants.
Yeah, you would not.
I'm a much more reserved person when it comes to talking to anybody.
No, he's the wrong person for you. No, he is definitely the wrong person for you. But I'm telling you, man, y'all get a chance to go party with Tim, hang out with Tim Allen. That's highly suggested because you will have a blast one way or the other. All right, take a quick time out. Come back on the other side. Everybody's been hard on Greg Gard. Hard. Greg Gard has won 20 games. Now 5 straight years he has won 20 games. 5 straight years. Do we value Greg Gard as highly as we should? Make a lay law talking text line 414-677-1250. 414-677-1250. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily. Live from Wisconsin Sports Radio Network Studios. Powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here. Welcome back. It is Wisconsin Sports Daily. Steve Sparky Fiber with you. Charlie using other side of the glass. Welcome, man. Happy Monday. Can you feel it? The thrill of witnessing a walk-off grand slam, a buzzer-beating three. That's Sparky. You know the feeling. There's only one place to experience that raw exhilaration, the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Catch all the action in a supreme space with dozens of sports betting kiosks, cool drinks, luxury seating, great food, and a fiery atmosphere to go along with a monster video wall, 2,000 square feet, over 30 sporting events you can see at one time. Only at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. More info at potawatomi.com. Must be 21 to enter the casino. Still to come on today's show, a Green and Gold update coming up with Ian Cummings from Pro Football Network. Give us his thoughts on those guys that got better, raised their stock, I guess you could say, and then those that kind of fell down a little bit based on their times and hand size and every other damn thing they go over at the Combine. So we'll do that coming up at 4 o'clock. We talk about this Badgers basketball team. Yet again, they've won 20 games, and it's a fifth straight season that we've seen a 20-win team from the Badgers and Greg Gard. Do we value Greg Gard as highly as we should? Nicolay Law talking text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. Also streaming live on X and on YouTube at WI Sports Radio as well. If you miss anything, again, wisportsradio.com. You can also stream the show audio-wise there as well. If I say as well one more time, shoot me in the head. Right. Charlie, let's talk about Greg Gard. 5 straight years with 20 wins. I feel like a lot of people get frustrated by Greg Gard because they have not seen a Final Four or a championship game since Bo Ryan left. However, considering what that football program looks like right now, I think Badger fans may be becoming more accepting of Greg Gard as basketball coach.
I think it's really hard to follow up somebody who had such a high peak like Bo Ryan. And I think when that high peak was also honestly such short-lived compared to some other dynasties that you see in college basketball or even college football to that degree, I think it heightens the expectations for a guy like Greg Gard, despite him always constantly meeting those expectations. It feels like people want more. At the same time, we talk about it with baseball and this discrepancy between the teams that can pay for players more and the teams that can't, right, and how that changes things. And I think in college basketball, you see that more than almost any other college athletic.
I think that's absolutely right. And so the other part about this is, we talk about this with Marquette a little bit as far as Shaka Smart not wanting to use that transfer portal. And now there's reports that he's going to use the transfer portal coming up to help his basketball program. You look at Greg Gard the last couple of years. I mean, going out and getting Tanji, who just signed with the Celtics, might see him tonight, but going out and getting Tanji in that transfer portal, and then what he was able to do for this Badger program, that's a pretty good deal. Getting Rapp, getting Boyd, getting these other guys in the transfer portal that have come in. Carrington, right, who just had 9 threes in a game. Getting him to come in and be a part of this. That's another big deal for the Badgers. So, even though they may not be spending maybe as much as everybody else, they have been very, very good inside of the portal right now. And Carrington is a guy that, was Minnesota was all but done with, and then does this. Braden Carrington, again, can't miss. 9 straight threes for the Wisconsin Badgers, and Minnesota and their fans, he's horrible. Good riddance. See you later. We don't want him. I don't know, man. I feel like he's been all right for the Wisconsin Badgers. Every time we've had somebody on this show in the last, 3 weeks or so, we start talking about X factors and guys that could make big impacts in the tournament. Carrington's name almost comes up every single time when you start talking about these national guys. Just loving Braden Carrington. Let's see where we going next. Let's go to Andy in Grafton. You're next on the Nicolay Law Talk and Text line. What's up, Andy?
What's going on, Sparky?
Good.
Hey, I don't think we need to say that the expectations were Final Four or championship game. How about you win 2 tournament games in the same tournament?
Get to
Sparky?
Sweet 16.
I mean, he's got 2 wins in the last 10 years or nine years. Like, that's not – you don't go from back-to-back Final Fours, national championship game to awful. And I mean, to be honest with you, I can't even believe he stuck around this long because where we were to where we are now. I mean, and then you could say NIL, but is it? Because you have the talent to get there every year, but you have to be underperforming.
Well, it's interesting. I got to roll up against a hard break. Thanks for the call. We'll continue on with this conversation coming up next. Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Steve Sparky Pfeiffer with you on a Monday. Time now for your fan weather forecast. 39 degrees, fair skies outside. Coming up tonight, a low of 29 degrees. No precipitation in the forecast. Tomorrow, a high of 42 degrees.
Some shows talk about one team. Other shows barely talk sports. This show will talk Packers, Brewers, and Bucks. Every day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily with Steve Sparky Pfeiffer on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
Here we are, 3 o'clock hour. Hope everybody is doing well on a Monday. We're going to talk about the crew because that's what we do at 3 o'clock. We're going to wrap up this Badgers topic that we were just talking about. Also still to come this hour, Charlie Sounds of the Day comes up around 3:40, 3:45. But the Badgers won 20 games again. That's 5 straight years. Do we value Greg Gard as highly as we should? Now, the interesting point in all of this is that was brought up before the break of, yeah, I mean, this is great, but you got to win games in the tournament, right? You haven't been back to the Final Four of the championship since Sam Decker, who's at near the end of his NBA career, and Frank Kaminsky. It's been a long time since you've even sniffed that realm. Like, you can't even get to the Sweet 16 consistently at this point. May I remind you that we were complaining about Paul Chryst not getting to more than just a bowl game every year. Paul Chryst should be competing for the Final Four in the playoffs, and that's what it should be. So, the way they went out and they hired Luke Fickell, who I was a big fan of, loved it. I'd be a hypocrite to say I was against it, because I wasn't. I couldn't believe they fired Chryst. I really was shocked that they were able to lure Fickell away from Cincinnati. Notre Dame tried, everybody tried. Nobody could get him. So to be able to do that, and you went from going to a bowl game every year to missing bowl games now. That's where you've gone to. You haven't been to a bowl game in like 3 years. That's where you're at now. So again, was it grass greener on the other side? Doesn't appear so. So if you now are like, whoa, Greg Gard doesn't do enough in the tournament. Fine. Fair. I'd like to see him do more in the tournament too. But before you make that move, you better make sure you know what you're doing and who that move is going to be for. Thomas in La Crosse, you're next on Wisconsin Sports Daily. What's up, Thomas?
Sparky Pfeiffer, you son of a gun. It is Thomas indeed. Celebrating a big 2-3 birthday today.
Ooh, happy birthday.
Yeah, why, thank you. And I might want to hit you with a little something. And that is right here. That is hitting you with a little boom shakalaka. There we go. Boom shakalaka indeed.
Okay.
And it's been a really good day, Sparky. You know why? I just got back not too long ago from Howie's. Shout out to Howie's, the La Crosse hometown. You know, I'm sure you've been there many times.
I have. I do like Howie's. In fact, I was just there when I moved my kid into the dorms back in August.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yep.
Really?
Yep.
That's awesome. Yeah, I was there for 2 for $1 Monday. 2 for $1 burger specials.
I like it.
And I was able to stuff down 2 burgers in all of the fries too. 2 sides worth of fries. So I'm feeling it.
That's good.
And not only that, but I had the burger, the Buffalo Ranch burger. Holy cow. Jeepers Cripes, does that have a punch to it? Goodness me. But Spark, I just want to ask, any practical wisdom or advice you can give a 23-year-old like myself? We have already kind of talked about it, but we could go a little deeper into just how to make and get my break into the industry, and just more so just life advice as well as a 23-year-old senior college student here at the University of Wisconsin La Crosse. Go Eagles, by the way. So, Sparky, I appreciate you taking the call, by the way.
Thomas, this is easy. So you need to get yourself an internship as quickly as possible.
Yep.
I mean, you're really late. You should have already had an internship probably back in like your sophomore or junior year.
I have the lacrosse loggers. Huge shout out to them.
That's good.
Have
But do you want to do? But do you want? If you want to do, have you done radio or TV?
I have not officially yet. However, I do believe I have one lined up, heading into either at the tail end of this summer or it's going to be the following summer. That ESS 450, that required internship that you need to take and pass in order to officially like graduate within the program too.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
ESPN Lacrosse 1055 with John Papadopoulos. Not sure if you know that name at all.
That's my guy. I go on a show all the time. I love Papadopoulos. I was just on there. Was I on there? I think I was on there last week.
I think so.
Yeah, I wanted to say, yeah, but he's a great guy. I love his show. I've been networking and connecting with him, my friends. So that is definitely a guy that I'm looking to potentially get a start with, to really get my foot in the door with here locally.
Sounds good, Thomas. I got to roll, buddy. Have a happy birthday. See you.
Hey.
Yeah, bye. Listen, if you want to do this for a living, you want to do radio, or if you want to do TV, getting an internship. Now, I will tell you that there are less and less places do internships, right? Back in the day, we used to do a million internships here, and now we don't do any. So if you can find radio stations or TV stations that still do internships, do it. Absolutely do it. And you're doing it for two reasons. One, to see if you actually want to do this. And two, to make those connections and network as much as humanly possible. That's how it all kind of comes to be, man. Like, life is kind of about breaks and who can get the breaks and so forth. That's kind of what it is. When Charlie used it over there applied, he was fresh out of college and we were starting the station back up from ground zero, and boom, he got in on the ground floor, and now look where he is. Now he's a part of this whole big lineup, statewide network and everything else, and it's kind of fell in place. And if he applied now, let's say, he may not even have got hired based on where we are now with where we have everything and all the people that are applying and want to come work with us. So it's just, again, it's about breaks, who you know, and timing. Timing is everything.
Well, and being able to do or being willing to do anything is kind of not even being able to do anything, because you can learn, you can take that time, but being willing to go out there and do video editing, do photo editing, anything that gets you into that door. Again, it may not be radio right away, but if that's what you want to do, you have to find your way into that.
And the other advice I would give is this: when you're an intern or when you're a part-timer, never, ever say no to a shift, ever. I don't care if it's the biggest, coolest, baddest party ever. I can't miss it. Doesn't matter. I don't care if it's somebody's birthday or whatever the case may be. Don't turn down hours. Don't turn down shifts. But Sparky, it's like 12 hours between this and that. I don't care. Don't care. But I'm working 2 jobs and I don't care. Don't turn it down, because I'm telling you, especially if there's a group of interns working somewhere or at a business and they go to look to find that part-timer and they're like, we're going inside, the person that's always readily available and can do everything, that's the person they're going to go with. You may be okay and you may be able to do all your stuff okay, but you're not available and you're always needing time off. They're probably not going to bring you in. They're going to go with a guy or girl who is always available, never turns down a shift, and is reliable and does their job well. That's just how it kind of works. And I don't think that's just a radio or TV thing. I think that's an everything thing right now across the board. So you could choose social life over your career. By all means, go ahead. Just don't be mad if it doesn't go the way you want when it comes time for everybody to make a decision on you.
But also, don't completely limit yourself to working too. You are a young person.
That's how it worked out. I worked 3 jobs. And that's essentially what I did. I essentially had to outwork everybody. Back when we started the station, I was working, 75 to 80 hours a week. I mean, that, and again, not for real money at all. I mean, Charlie's making way more than I was making back then. But I mean, from that perspective, yeah, that's kind of how it is. And if, again, like Tommy Wirtz is a prime example of a guy who's always available for all shifts, never says no, always in, always does all this stuff. And you just kind of take advantage of that as you can. Charlie's always usually available too whenever I ask him to do stuff. He's working extra this week covering for Tommy, who's off in Arizona doing baseball games and stuff. I mean, it is a big, big deal when you start trying to figure out who wants to work where. Like my 9-year-old wants to do business and finance and everything else. I keep telling him, find yourself an internship like immediately. And I went online. I saw an internship, paid internship for the
That's
summer.
rare nowadays,
Right.
yeah.
Paid internship for the summer. I'm like, you better apply. You better apply. I bet you everything I have, he has not applied for that and has not gotten around to it. I bet you money. Oh, I forgot. I bet you money. Guarantee it. All right, enough about schooling and everything else. Let's get to what we're supposed to be talking about here. Sorry for the side track, but happy birthday to Thomas and Lacrosse.
It's time to talk about the Crew. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
All right, time to talk about the Crew. This is something that Charlie found. Bob Nightingale, USA Today, national writer for USA Today. We've had him on before, insider. Some of you always get mad every time Bob Nightingale says something, which is fine. You're able to get mad at whoever you'd like. Most of you don't like insiders to begin with, which is, again, fine. You get mad at everybody. But Nightingale wrote a piece on the Brewers that Charlie saw and was rather entertained by.
He leads the article off with, "Here we go again. The Milwaukee Brewers are too cheap, too foolish, trading away their ace, too reckless, trading away their young star third baseman." I want to call him a star. That's crazy. Surely this will be the year their luck
Durbin
finally
is
runs
not
out.
a star. That's crazy. Yes, I agree.
Leaving their fans drowning their sorrows in beer, stuffing their faces with cheese curds, and screaming every time they hear "Go Cubs Go" at Wrigley Field. The Brewers hear the mockery, the taunts, the ridicule, and the malice. Their reaction, honestly, we just don't care. Brewers outfielder DH Christian Yelich says it's the same story every year. So go ahead, bring it on. But please, don't take it personally if they laugh in your face.
This is the thing. Not Maka, I always call him Maka. Pat Murphy is a guy that will play up to this, and he'll use it again this year. And this year, I think, what is it? Shock the world, or
I think
we're going to shock you, or
he's
whatever.
changed it a couple times already.
Whatever, but it's going to involve the word shock, whatever he decides to roll with throughout the year. That'll be the mantra. I'm guessing they'll have shirts and whatever he decides to play it up with for the theme of the year in that Brewers clubhouse. What I want to know from you as a fan, how much does the national disrespect year after year after year about this Brewers team bother you? How much does it bother you as a Brewers fan? The national disrespect that seemingly is happening every year. Every year. Are you numb to it? Or are you like, dude, I'm so over this. Like, I'm used to it. I don't care about it anymore. Say what you want to say. We'll just go win another division title. Is that where you're at? Or is it, man, I'm so sick of this every year. When are they finally going to buy in, Sparky? Maybe that's you. Everybody has different reactions to this. Where are you at? Nikolai Law, talking text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. You can also use, of course, social media. The Dugout YouTube chat is available for you there on X and on YouTube at WI Sports Radio as we stream it live. So, first off, I watched MLB Network over the weekend, and they did their 30 clubs in 30 days on the Brewers. They interviewed Churio, Mizorowski. They talked to Pat Murphy. They talked to Christian Yelich. And it was weird because it was buried on my TV in the middle of MLB Tonight. So it didn't say Brewers 30 and 30, and then you hit record. I luckily just caught it because I like watching MLB Network and MLB Tonight. Caught it, and I was like, oh, it's in this one. So then in the middle of the night, I recorded another one so I could watch the full thing. But the lead host on that thing, Greg Amsinger or whatever his name is, 83 wins that dude projected for the Brewers. 83. Yonder Alonso, who is with him, said 94 or 95 wins, and they win the division title again, which would make it, 4 straight years now. For the Milwaukee Brewers. Completely different side of things. And Greg's take was, wow, losing Freddie Peralta, that's really going to hurt him. It's going to hurt him by 14 games, dude? 14-game difference for the Brewers off of Freddie Peralta? Corbin Burns isn't worth 14 wins, and he was the best pitcher they've had. There's no chance Freddie Peralta is 14-win difference on what this team does. Now, again, if they get hurt, and they can't stay healthy, hey, it happens, right? Can't overcome injuries. The Packers in the playoffs, banged up, hurt, couldn't overcome injuries. Maybe that happens to the Brewers this year where they can't overcome injuries. But even with that being said, they're so deep in most positions that they could sustain an injury or two and still probably not miss too much and continue going in the right direction. So how much does the national disrespect for the Brewers bother you? Nikolai Lautaka, text line 414-677-1250. What say you, Charlie Usen?
Yeah, I think I'm more in the boat of it's not bothering me as much. It's kind of becoming numb to me. I mean, that whole take that Freddie Peralta is worth 14 wins. No shot. Quinn Priester in his first season with the Milwaukee Brewers had 13 wins last year. Jose Quintana, who was washed up and probably wasn't supposed to be as good as he was last year, had 11 wins for this Brewers team. Brandon Woodruff, who didn't start pitching until halfway through the year, had 7 wins himself. They're going to be able to replace that. Brandon Woodruff will probably pitch longer than that, pitch more games than that. You'll see Quinn Priester hopefully take another step and add maybe 2 wins to his log. That'd be really cool. Get him into an all-star game. That'd be awesome. And then whoever is replacing Jose Quintana can get 10 wins. I guarantee. I think there's more than enough of a shot for that to happen. Again, all this goes more to the batting side of things, where you still have some questions, where you're still going to have young guys that are going to be playing important roles and players that you haven't heard of, like you've seen always with the Brewers. That's where I would question anything. And he didn't even hit on that. He hit on Freddie Peralta instead. I think sometimes the national media loves this storyline of the Brewers exceeding the expectations too. It's almost like the opposite of the Bucks, where they just don't care about the Bucks and don't want to see the Bucks win, so they just try everything to get the Bucks out of the door. Exactly, because then they don't have to talk about Milwaukee anymore. With the Brewers, I think the MLB enjoys the storyline every year of the Brewers being the underdogs and going and winning 90 games instead, and that if they predict 90 games and the Brewers don't reach that for some reason, then they no longer have that storyline and they can't talk about that anymore. I think for some reason they, in their minds, purposely lower the Brewers standards just so that they can be excited about them later on in the season. It's weird.
I think that you very well may be right on that assessment of how this whole thing goes. And when you see numerous publications picking the Brewers to be third behind the Pirates and the Cubs, that Murphy going to win another manager of the year award if they can win it.
You have to give it to him. Like, if you're projecting him that low in the standings, there's no shy you pass on that.
Oh my goodness. I mean,
I think they love that. I think they want that type of stuff to happen. So they set those narratives in motion before the season even starts. It's kind of crazy. And then with the Pirates, with the Cubs, they can say, oh, look at all the money the Cubs spent. We can talk about that if they don't reach those expectations. With the Pirates, oh, the Pirates changed their game plan this offseason. Will it work? Won't it work? That's a storyline in and of itself. The Brewers didn't do anything this offseason. So the storyline sticks with, are they going to overachieve? And that is constantly what the storyline that the MLB loves to push.
Absolutely right. Let me tell you about my fine folks over there at Prize Picks, baby. Shoot your shot now on Prize Picks. Use the code SPARKY to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code SPARKY to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. It's pretty simple, pretty easy. All you got to do is go more or less on 2 or more player stat projections, and you are all set. I played a lineup last time we did this, and Victor Wembanyama screwed me, and I lost. And I went power play because it was 2. No, I checked that. It was protected play, so you had no choice. You didn't get to play flex or power because it was a protected power play or protected $20 play, which is great because then I can't lose. So that worked out fine. But I still didn't win. I could have won more money than just straight up losing at the end of the day. I'm telling you right now, this is the way to go. If you're scared and you're worried, it's $5. They give you 50. If you play $5 lineups, you get to play 11 times. And if you're still scared, you're like, oh, Sparky, you lose so much. If I lose like you, I'm going to just go nuts. Play the flex play, because then you can get paid even if you get one wrong. Now, if you're cocky, you're like, oh, I'll do way better than Sparky. Well, fine. Then do the power play and stack those dollar bills on top of each other. Go do your thing. I got no problem with that. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code SPARKY, SPARKY, to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code SPARKY to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for details. Welcome back. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily. Steve Sparky with you. Pfeiffer with you, I should say. Charlie Houston over there. I can't talk today. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
I've just been a disaster on the radio today. Some days are just not meant for me to be on the radio. Today is one of them. My thanks to Tommy Wirtz for joining us in the first hour of the show here. Him and the franchise, Tim Allen, tonight, spring training live from 5 until 7 o'clock from Arizona, as they'll broadcast there each night this week here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. So if you're a big Brewers fan, you're not going to want to miss that each night this week from 5 until 7 o'clock. And then once the season starts, 1 hour before every game, we got the leadoff show with Tommy Wirtz. And then after the last pitch, you always make the switch right back here to the Potawatomi Sportsbook post-game show with the franchise, Tim Allen and Tommy Wirtz after game. So it is going to be a fun Brewer season. I'm looking forward to it. Got some Packers news, kind of sort of related to the Packers. Gary Wolfel of Wolfel's Press Box had this story before everybody else, and now it's official. Clemson has set to hire NFL special teams coach, you may have heard of him, Rich Bisaccia, to Clemson to be their special teams coordinator. Bisaccia is friends with Dabo Swinney, so it makes a lot of sense. Still interesting to me that Rich Bisaccia left the Green Bay Packers to go to Clemson. I'm very intrigued by that because, number one, why in the world, if you're his age, would you want to go to college? That's the first thing I don't understand. The second thing I really, 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 really want to find out is how bad truly was it? His right-hand guy leaves a couple days before he leaves, and then his right-hand guy goes to be a coordinator instead of an assistant with the Browns. Okay, fine. I get it, right? That's an upgrade, so you take that job. But then him to not even get another NFL gig and to leave to go to college football, like it feels like he got forced out. Now that you see where he ended up, it's like maybe they forced him out. Maybe they gave him a either or scenario, and he said, "To hell with you, I'm out of here." Because now that's what it feels like. But at the same time, that feels like lunacy. Why the Packers would wait that long to do something like that? That's why I just can't believe that's what occurred. I'm baffled by all of this with Bisaccia right now going to Clemson.
Well, and with Rich Bisaccia, in my mind, he could have been a pretty good front office person in some kind of role, some advisor to the team where he can still have an impact on all these players that have known him for a while now. And all these people that have talked so highly of him since this news has broke that he was stepping down from his position with the Packers. And then I look at how much money special teams coordinators make it at the NCAA level. Jeff Banks for Texas made $1.2 million this past year. The last Clemson special teams coordinator, Mickey Kahn and Mike Reed, both of them for Clemson, made a combined $950,000 between that. The average salary is around $84,000. So at this school, either way, he's taking a huge pay increase.
I'm sure he's taking like making $1 million at Clemson.
Still a big pay decrease. And I think
that's what his deal was when he originally got to Green Bay. It was $1 million a year is what his original deal was when he got to Green Bay, which was significantly more than Goody had paid to anybody prior to Bisaccia.
This feels like just a downgrade overall. When he, in my mind, again, the way people talk about him, the way that all these franchises feel like he could impact at least the player morale on a team, especially the way people are talking about Matt LaFleur and the way he's had player morale issues, apparently not having respect for the players. All these different things. I think this is a spot where Rich Bisaccia could have thrived in a different role at the NFL level, probably get paid somewhere around the same amount of money and just not have his name in the spotlight as much. And now you're going to a college team where they have kind of taken a downturn over the past few years. They're kind of in the same boat as you just overall. And you don't have the same kind of players coming in that already know you. You don't have people coming to you at Clemson because you're Rich Bisaccia and because they have relationships with you in the past. You may get other guys that will suggest you and may sway a player or two, but it just feels weird from Rich Bisaccia's standpoint.
So this is the thing. Do you feel, Charlie, that if you are a leader of 20-year-olds, that you can be a leader of 30-year-olds? Or if you're a leader of 30-year-olds, do you believe you could be a leader of 20-year-olds?
I think it's hard to do either or, like go either way.
I disagree. I feel like if you are a natural born leader, you're a leader. And I don't care who I put around you or what the ages are that I put around you, that it will work if you are truly kind of a leader at the end of the day.
I don't know. Wouldn't Nick Saban say otherwise? Like his career path? Wouldn't Bill Belichick so far in his transition to the college level say different?
Nope. Listen, when you talk about that Dolphin situation, it still takes talent in order to win. The difference with Nick Saban at Alabama and the difference with Nick Saban at Miami, the Dolphins that is simple. Nick Saban was able to shop for the groceries and get the cream of the crop every year at Alabama. Nick Saban wasn't able to get the cream of the crop because of how the NFL is set up. There's free agency. There's a salary cap. There's a draft. Over there at Alabama, he can go sign whoever he wanted to sign, and he got to go play with damn near unlimited money with what he wanted to do with the recruiting classes. So he had great talent. And when you have great talent, you just got to be a good leader, and they show you who they are at the end of the day. With Belichick, that's a little bit different, but the same type of thing, right? So in New England for the Patriots, great defensive coordinator, always kept you in games. Brilliant at hiring good coaches around him. Charlie Weiss is really the one that brought that offense in that Tom Brady and Bledsoe played with. But Belichick's not an idiot. He learned the offense. He learned how to work with Belichick as quarterback and everything else, with Brady as quarterback, I should say, and was able to do that going forward. Then, like everything else in life, eventually your time runs out at somewhere where you've been for a long time. And now he goes backwards to go into college. And he brings Michael Lombardi with him as general manager, which I questioned that at the time to begin with. But they bring Michael Lombardi with them. And they thought going down to North Carolina that he was going to show up, flash Super Bowl rings, and everybody would want to come play with him. But that's not what happened. They continued to go to Alabama. They continued to go to Georgia. They continued to go to LSU. Miami now has become legit. So Miami's getting him. Oregon and Nike, they get him. And he legitimately has had to have recruiting battles with guys, and his rings aren't getting it done at the end of the day. So again, he's not getting that talent. I promise you, if Bill Belichick was coaching Georgia instead of Kirby Smart, he'd be doing the same thing, if not better at this point at Georgia. You still got to have, the horses in place to go win. You're not going to win it with subpar talent. But even if I take sports out of it and I say, okay, Charlie, if I told you, and I don't even know who we would use as an example, but let's say our general manager that we have here in Milwaukee at our radio station cluster, he's been successful at every stop he's been at in leading people and changing chemistry and changing vibes in the building and doing that. And has had success everywhere because of his beliefs, who he is, how he buys into people, and so forth. He's had that success. And he's managed all different types of ages of people, young to older, just somebody that knows how to be a leader. I could take another general manager, let's say, that maybe wasn't as successful here, and then either gets fired or leaves, and then isn't as successful somewhere else. That person may be a great salesperson, but may not be a great general manager because they're not as great of a leader. I just think in Bisaccia's case with Clemson and where we're at right now, you hear the stories from the Raiders about how great of a leader of men he was. He gets the interim head coaching position, that whole locker room ready to run through a wall for him. We love him. They don't give him the head coaching position. The Packers bring him in. I mean, go look at that player, that NFLPA report card. He got a B+ for special teams coordinator. Not because they were great. The coverage units got significantly better. He deserves credit for that. But these dudes all love him and all wanted to play for him. Goody is up on a podium saying, take away the special teams thing. He's just big for our room. He's big for our organization as far as how people want to follow him. I think if you're Dabo Swinney, you want a leader like that, helping to lead these kids and so forth and show them the right way to go about things. So I think Bisaccia, if you put him in a high school gym with high school kids or a high school football field, I think those kids follow. I think if you put them in college, they follow. If you put them in the Canadian Football League, the United Football League, I don't care where you put them. I think he's just a natural born leader that regardless of age, people respect.
I guess I feel like leadership and being adaptable, it's like a Venn diagram where they overlap at points, but it's not always that they are exclusively together in my mind. And I feel like in my mind, Rich Bisaccia just hasn't been at this level in a long time. He's been at this NFL level with these guys that are making millions of dollars throughout the roster, and it's transitioning back down to this. I think there is something to questioning whether or not he is going to be able to adapt to that. And I think he will be able to. I think it's something that probably will work out. I don't see why it hasn't. He's been able to do it between teams, but it's still something worth questioning. And I guess also with Kirby Smart and Nick Saban, yes, they had money, but we can't downplay that they aren't great. They are great leaders. Like, they are able to win national championships. There's teams that spend lots of money. Texas hasn't won a national championship in forever, and they spend tons of money every year. Every Texas team spends tons of money. Every Texas Tech, Texas A&M, all these teams, they spend money and they don't win those national championships, and they fire their coaches over and over again just to find that right kind of leader. So those guys also do have special qualities in that facet as well.
It's Charlie Usen, see Sparky Fiver with you. Coming up next, it's Charlie's Sounds of the Day. It is Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from Wisconsin Sports Radio Network Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. And I'm telling you right now, that Potawatomi Sportsbook, that's where you want to be. Reserve your seat today. Nominal food and beverage costs, but it goes towards your food and beverage, like I said. So you go there, you have a couple beverages, something to eat. That fee that you paid to reserve that seat, it goes towards your food and beverage. So you were going to spend that money anyhow. So it really makes all the sense in the world to reserve your seat so you have a seat to watch college basketball. You have a seat to watch the pros in basketball or hockey, or when baseball season gets started. Reserve right now. Go to Potawatomi.com. And then while you're there talking about that food and beverage, listen, it is a full menu at the Potawatomi Sportsbook Kitchen. All-day brunch, homemade pastries and desserts, 48 beers on tap, a dozen different specialty cocktails, and deliciousness all over the place. Kiosks everywhere that you want them to be, right there on the sportsbook floor, right there off the walkway coming from the parking structure as well. It really is a no-brainer. It's the best sportsbook in the Midwest. 2 levels on top of it for seating. Only at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. More info now at Potawatomi.com. Must be 21 to enter the casino. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily. Steve Sparky, 5 with you. Charlie using over there, other side of the glass. Thanks for tuning in today. Do appreciate it. Don't forget, weekday morning, start off with Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor Thomas and Josh Albright. Always fun listening to those guys. Then 9 to noon with John Kuhn. Served up by Yingling, America's oldest brewery. Him and Rami Makloff. Rami was off today. He'll be back tomorrow. Mason Crosby Show with Mitch Leonard Ellis, brought to you by Verizon from noon until 2 each day. And then, of course, this show, Wisconsin Sports Daily, myself, Charlie Usen. Normally, Wisconsin Sports wrap up from 5 until 6 every day with Tommy Wirtz. This week, it's Spring Training Live as Tim Allen and Tommy Wirtz are down there talking Brewers baseball each night from 5 to 7. All kinds of interviews you'll hear through all the shows starting tomorrow and including at night. Brewers the day off today, so not as much of that today, but lots of stuff to play back from over the weekend in case you missed it with Tim and Tommy coming up tonight. Plus, I'm sure there will be plenty more stories, Charlie, and much more laughter going on as well.
I can't wait to hear it all. I feel like some of these questions, Tim's probably going to draw me in a little bit too, and then I'm going to have to answer. And then I feel like I'm going to disappoint Tim too with my answers, so we'll see.
Yep. Y'all may not be talking after y'all get done working together this week. That very well may be the fact. And maybe Tim Allen will nominate Charlie Usen for Plead the Fifth coming up on Friday at 4:20. Charlie, quit talking. You're driving me nuts. You're just driving me nuts, Charlie. Brought to you by Habish, and Rotier. And again, experience matters when the stakes are high. And the stakes are never higher than when you're going to ask somebody to help represent you because you've been hurt in a car accident or something like that involving personal injury. That's why you go to the best. National reputation, hometown service. 13 different locations spread out across the state of Wisconsin. So if you're listening in Wausau, Green Bay, Appleton, they're right there in your backyard as well as all over southeastern Wisconsin into the west of us too. So make sure to check out Habish, and Rotier because your case is as important to them as it is important to you. Yeah, they've won a lot of big cases around Wisconsin, but regardless of how much money you potentially could get back or not get back or whatever, they're going to treat you like the most important thing going on. And that's what you want. And you want people that you can trust. These guys have been around since 1930. Pretty sure they've established trust with their clients at this point. So give them a visit at Habish.com. Again, Habish.com. Call them 1-800-2HABISH. 1-800-2HABISH. Habish, and Rotier. National reputation. Hometown service.
1, 2, 3. What sound clips will Chicago Charlie pick today for Sparky? Will Sparky become enraged? Will laughter ensue? It's time for Charlie's Sound of the Day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
All right, Charlie Usen, what do you got cooked up for us today?
All right, so first up, we're going to head on over to the NBA from the biggest story happening in an NBA game this past weekend. Lou Dort has been outed as a dirty player, something that a lot of people have been pushing for a while now.
Oklahoma City Thunder.
And he decided that it was a good idea to trip Nikola Jokic in the middle of a game. Here's that sound.
Second of the season and 186th of his career, and then McCain on the other end scores. And Jokic hits the deck. He doesn't like it. Gets in the face of Dort. Jalen Williams comes in, and Jokic and Jalen Williams do battle. Now the coaches come in along with some teammates to break things up. Jokic and Jalen Williams face to face right now.
Go back to the early exchange with Dort. So let's watch this ensue up the floor. Oh, yeah. Dort goes over out of his way, and this is what gets the reaction from Jokic.
It's right in the face of Dort. Jalen Williams comes in. And you see the intensity there in the eyes of Jokic. And the officials, along with the replay center, will take a long look.
Can we just say that there are certain people in the NBA you can mess with? There are certain people that you can mess with and not feel all that concerned about something coming back your way later in the night after the game is over. There are other people that you mess with in the NBA and you're kind of looking over your shoulder the rest of the night, regardless if you're walking out of the arena, you're at a restaurant, whatever, that you're like, that dude's Not sure if I want to mess with him, especially this dude whose two brothers would be willing to beat up anybody for him, regardless of what the cost may be for themselves. You don't mess with the Joker, Charlie.
Yeah, his brothers sit up in the stands and just look like his bodyguards.
Yes.
They look like they'd come down on the court and take care of you right away if they were at that game. I mean, it's just a bad idea in general, to do it to a guy like Jokic who is going to fight back. He's done that before in the past. Somebody that's kind of a scary person because of, the giantness of him and his family. And then the other thing is you're obviously going to have this go out on the biggest stage possible when he is one of the top 3 best players in the NBA at this moment, if not one of the top 10 best players of all time, because he's won the 3 MVPs in a championship at this point. I mean, you just are going to look bad no matter what. And if you're, I guess, a Draymond Green, who is probably a future Hall of Famer, you can get away with it a little bit more. When you're Lou Dort, who, yes, has an NBA championship, but is not at that caliber of a player like a Draymond Green or Dennis Rodman or any of those guys, you don't get to just get away with that like those guys do. It's kind of crazy that he's willing to do that.
Correct. That's exactly correct. I don't get it. I don't understand it. But you know who will get it and understand it? Lou Dort. If he walks in and all of a sudden there's the Joker waiting for him in the offseason. Remember when you did that? Really? Poof. Down you go. I would not mess with the Joker. All right, what do you got?
Next up, we're going to head on over to NCAA basketball, where Miami, Ohio has been on an insane run. They're 2 games away from a perfect season. They're 28-0, and they just now are starting to get respect in the NCAA tournament bids. This is former college basketball coach Bruce Pearl discussing why Miami, Ohio has not yet proven why they're a tournament team. This is courtesy of TNT.
Miami, Ohio, here's the deal. Are we going to select the 68 most deserving teams, or are we going to select the 68 best teams? If we're selecting the 68 best teams, then Miami, Ohio is going to have to win their tournament to qualify as a champion. Because as an at-large, they are not one of the best teams in the country. And that's going to be a difficult choice for the committee to make.
And the strength of schedule for Miami of Ohio, 321st. It doesn't look good when we're weighing resumes, which is what's happening with the bubble talk right now. You mentioned New Mexico.
Correct.
They're one of those first 4 in, first 4 outs. These are always a little deceiving because you don't know who the first 8 in or the last 8 out are. But what is this moment like, this bubble time? I know you're thinking about this right now with your son as well. With all
Yeah, I mean, you got to play your way in or you're going to lose your way out. It's just that simple with all these teams. And Mash, to your question, for the mid-majors and low majors, it's all about the tournament because they recognize there's only going to be a 1-bid league. For the rest of the leagues, it's all about the grind of a regular season championship. And I think that's what matters most.
When you start talking about the job that Miami of Ohio has done at this point. Now, again, I also get that they're not in a Power 5 conference, right? I understand that. So like Green Bay or like Milwaukee, as far as being in the Horizon League, normally it's a 1 big league. And that's all that gets in at the end. This Miami of Ohio team, sitting there ranked 19th in the country at this point. They beat Western Michigan on Friday. They host Toledo coming up tomorrow night. They are 29-0. I do not care if they lose their conference tournament. They should be in the tournament. If you're going to win 30-plus games, I don't care if you lose your conference tournament to somebody that gets lucky on a given night. They need to be the NCAA tournament.
Well, and teams like the Yales of the past, where they can go out and make big upsets in the first round despite not being tournament winners or their own tournament winners, stuff like that. And you've already made this mistake with other sports like UCF when they went undefeated. You didn't give them any respect in college football. Why? You got to fix that at some point. Give this team some respect and at least let them try. Yeah, if they go out there, get killed, whatever, who cares? But at least you let them have that opportunity.
Correct. And that's what I want to see. And hopefully the committee doesn't screw this up. And that's why I'm always an advocate of there should just be a computer program, give it the parameters, and let them do what it wants. But nobody listens to me. All right, what's next?
And last up here, we're going to stay with college basketball. This is head coach Kevin Willard discussing working with Rick Pitino, legend of the game and current St. John's head coach.
I don't have hair in this game. I had a full set of hair when I started working for him. Like, it's the most miserable experience in life. Like, you fear for your life every day. And everyone laughs when I say that, but you think you're going to get fired, and it's miserable. As he's gotten older, he's probably become more of a cranky old than he was when I worked for him. Like you literally fear for your life. Like you walk in, he walks into the facility, he's walking in at 6:30, and you've been there since 5:30, thinking you have everything right, and he comes and he asks you the one question that you don't know, and it's like, he's that intense. He always has been. He's got the most energy of any coach I've ever been around. I think that's why he's got 900 wins and national championships, because he does it better and more intense than anybody. And I think he has the perfect player in Zuby. Zuby and him really match so well together. I think that's why they've been so successful.
Do you know what a follow-up question should be?
What's that?
If we went to your coaching staff, how many of them would say the same thing about you, Kevin Willard? Because I can just tell you from personal experience, it can be, man, I'm never going to be like my mom and dad. And then you're like, I'm just like my mom and dad. Man, I'm never going to be like that boss. And then you look back and all of a sudden you have traits of that old boss that, you didn't like or whatever. Or I want to just be like that guy. And then you are. You take parts of everybody that you interact with throughout your life, and it comes through you in your day-to-day activities. It just does. Like Charlie and I work together 5 days a week. I'm sure some of me, probably not good, comes through in Charlie now day-to-day that he didn't have before, right? And there are things that him and Tommy come through in me on a day-to-day level that rubs off on me because I'm around them. I probably bring up Charlie's name in my house multiple times throughout the day after I'm done working here. Normally, it's about his food choices and what he thinks we should buy and eat and all that stuff. But there's always something. Hey, Charlie said this today. Hey, Charlie said that. It's always that. So for Willard, who says, oh, it was miserable for Pitino or working under Pitino, I would imagine if you talk to his coaches that he probably is similar to Pitino, would be my guess.
It's probably, listen to the stupid thing Charlie and Tommy were talking about on the break every time.
I never bring up the break talk. She doesn't care about any of the break talk. No, I don't ever do that.
That's the best stuff, man.
No, I don't do any of that. Coming up next, green and gold update time, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Ian Cummings, Pro Football Network, joins us, NFL draft analyst. He'll tell us who went up the draft boards thanks to the combine and who fell down the draft boards. Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here.
Some shows talk about one team. Other shows barely talk sports. This show will talk Packers, Brewers, and Bucks. Every day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily with Steve Sparky Pfeiffer on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
Let's get to it. Hour number 3 on Wisconsin Sports Daily. Steve Sparky Pfeiffer with you. Live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Thanks for tuning in Green Bay, Appleton area. WNFL 99.7 FM. How about in Duluth Superior on 710 The Game? In Milwaukee, in southeastern Wisconsin, 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan. And in Wausau on 93.9 The Game. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. It means a bunch to me and to Charlie. Don't forget, coming up tonight, again, 5 until 7, it is Spring Training Live with the franchise Tim Allen and Tommy Wirtz, broadcasting from Arizona. They'll be there all week long, broadcasting from 5 until 7 p.m. You'll hear all the different interviews that they get throughout the week and all the daily shows as well. Today, a day off, so they'll start doing their interviews tomorrow morning when the clubhouse opens up at, I think it's 8 o'clock Arizona time. So make sure to keep it tuned in, and they will both be very, very entertaining every night from 5 to 7. If you've heard Tommy on, 3 shows today, all of us have been laughing on all 3 shows by everything that's already happened to them, and they just got there yesterday. Joining us now on the guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law, one call, that's all. He is one of my favorites, Ian Cummings from Pro Football Network. Follow him on X at IC_draft, IC_draft. Ian, how are we doing, buddy?
We're doing good. We're recovering right now from the very busy NFL Combine week, but a lot of valuable information that we gained, a lot of fun testing, athletic measurements, stuff like that. So a lot of information gained, but still a lot of time left until the NFL draft, free agency, the works. So we are just one step closer. Still a long way to go, but happy to be talking ball with you.
If you go to ProFootballNetwork.com right now, you will see NFL Combine HQ right there on the front. You click on that bad boy and you have all the invitees, you have player measurements, you have on-field testing, player comparisons, combine history, combine event info. I mean, you all went full all out for this bad boy this year.
And it's only getting better each day. Shout out to James and Ben, the guys who run the back end of this one. But I really just provide the draft info. So that's kind of boring, But you go down to the prospect grades page too, and you can find my composite grades and my sub-trait grades for each prospect. And I am going through the process of cross-checking those now after athletic testing and, final checks with the film too. So still a long way to go. It's going to take the whole month, but we are still enriching this with all of the information that helps people have informative draft processes, better mock drafts, right? So everything you need to study. So that's the goal, to make it a one-stop shop. It's come a long way, still a long way to go though.
How much value do you put in the RAS score, the relative athletic score that has been made to be a thing on social media and the internet? People asked Brian Gutekunst about it, I think it was last year, and Goody shot it down. Said, I don't know what you're talking about. We use something similar to what you're describing, but I don't know what it is. Not quite sure I believe him. But either way, how much do you put stock into that?
Yeah, I was going to say, it sounds like Goody's being kind of slick. You see the correlation with their drafting. I feel like the Packers in general are pretty big proponents of athletic scores. Now, I don't think teams use the relative athletic score framework that we use exactly. I'm sure they have their own internal systems and processes for weighing relative athleticism, right, and testing results. Not just testing results. I'm sure they have access to GPS data too, like on-field metrics, like max acceleration. So it's probably not exactly like that. But as far as RAS goes as a concept, I do think it has a ton of merit, and shout out to Kent Lee Platty, Math Bomb, the originator of it. He's done incredible work on it. But basically, teams have different thresholds, and some teams are a little more lenient when players don't hit the requisite RAS thresholds. But I think even if it's not the same from a team standpoint, for the average draft junkie or team specific onlooker trying to learn more about these prospects, the RAS score can be a really great number for fully contextualizing what a player brings, how what their makeup is physically, right? Their brand of mobility, length, mass, height, how all of those things contextualize relative to people that have come before, right? So I think it's just another tidbit. It's not the end all be all. Obviously, you need to see how they move and play on film, their stylistic tendencies on film, how they win, technical and operational aspects that can't be conveyed with a athletic number or a testing number. But it's another very important piece of the puzzle for me personally, and I do pay attention to them, right? Obviously, I have my own athletic grades that factor in, because someone who jumps a 42-inch vertical, that explosiveness doesn't always translate one-to-one on the field, so you need a different grade for that. But it's another very important part of the process, and I think it's very important for contextualizing and kind of envisioning how these prospects play and how athletic they are.
Talking with Ian Cummings, ProFootballNetwork.com. Follow him on X at IC_draft. Green and Gold update brought to you by the Potawatomi Sportsbook here on Wisconsin Sports Daily. Steve Sparky Pfeiffer with you. All right, give me a couple of guys that saw their stock rise a little bit here at the draft combine.
Yeah, sure. I mean, we got to start with Sonny Styles, right? I mean, the Ohio State linebacker was just out of this world, measuring at 6'5", 244 with almost 33-inch arms, running a 4.6 40-yard dash, 43.5-inch vertical, I think an over 11-foot broad jump too. So just a freak athlete. And I know there were a lot of mock drafts that had him going in the teens. I don't think that happens anymore. I think honestly he's top 10 prospect and maybe even a top 5 prospect. Obviously, I know there's a lot of positional value arguments with off-ball linebacker, and they're not always viewed as valuable as edge rushers or offensive tackles, guys who, impact the passer directly on every given snap. But I do think Sonny Styles has a level of versatility, usage versatility, being able to rush the passer. He had 6 sacks in 2024. He's got pretty good pass rush efficiency when he is allowed to pin his ears back as a blitzer, right? But then also he's a former safety. He can play in coverage, and he's got great stacking and shedding strength coming downhill. He's a phenomenal processor, leader for the defense too. So his profile is very, very, very good. I'll never say flawless for any prospect, but he is very close to a generational grade on my scale. So phenomenal player. Arvell Reese, his counterpart, is right there with him, ran a 4.46 as well, I think, at 6'4", 241. More viewed as an edge convert at the next level, but still the traits are there to mold. Dylan Finneman, safety from Oregon. He started his career at Purdue. He had a phenomenal combine as well. 4.3 40-yard dash, 41-inch vertical. Really explosive, and I didn't quite see that level of long speed on film, so that's one I'm going to cross-check, but definitely see the fluidity, the explosion, the physicality, and he's another high IQ player. If a team can't get Caleb Downs in the top 10, Dylan Finneman in the top 25 is a very, very good consolation prize. As far as other players, I think the linebackers. Hold
on. I'm going to interrupt you. I don't want to hear any more about these top 5, top 10 guys, man. We don't even have a first round damn pick in Green Bay right now.
For sure.
We're picking in the second round. All you're doing right now is teasing me. Oh boy, y'all need a linebacker. Let me tell you about this stud that's gonna be long gone before the Packers pick. Yeah,
I got you.
Yeah. Give me somebody that sucked and now may be there for the Packers pick in the second round that might be good value, or somebody that rose all of a sudden now that might be there in the second or third round that maybe what wasn't supposed to be there might be later in the draft, somewhere in the area that the Packer fans can kind of be like, okay, these are a couple of guys we want to watch and see what their pro workout days look like and start watching highlights of them on YouTube and that type of stuff.
For sure, yeah. I'll go with some offensive linemen first. I think Sabechi Nwaiwu from Oklahoma had a really good combine. He didn't test in the elite tier, but I think for the Packers in particular, who really like positional flexibility, he's a player who played at guard and center in his collegiate career. He actually filled in as a center late in 2025. They kicked him over from guard to center, and he played really, really well in the latter stretches. So I think 6'4", over 320, I think near 34-inch arms.
Okay.
And I think he ran a solid 40, had a good 10-yard split, not the most explosive in the jumping, but in the on-field drills where you're asked to kick slide and redirect laterally. I think Sabechi Nwaiwu was a really, really good player.
Where are his strengths? Run blocking or pass blocking?
I would say he's solid in both. He's got heavy hands as a run blocker. He can reset the contact point and he can seal out gaps. But then also in pass protection, I think his anchor is really strong. You have a guy who can align his base and match and redirect laterally to keep guys within his frame and stay square. So I think he's a really solid player. He's actually at the top 75 on my board. the general consensus seems to be that he's more of kind of a mid-round, round 3, round 4 type. So if you can get him in that range, I think the versatility is definitely cheap with him. There's another offensive lineman, Drew Sheldon from Penn State, I thought had a good workout too. And he's another one who's kind of in the round 3 range, but has positional flexibility. He was a multi-year starter for Penn State, very good athlete who measured in, I believe it was 6'5", 313, over 33-inch arms, 31-inch vertical, 9'4" broad, and he looked pretty smooth in on-field drills too. But a player who played tackle at Penn State, but projects well at guard and center, I think, with that positional flexibility. He's another player who acquires leverage well. He can transition his hips, and he's got a really good mix of upper-lower synergy and pass protection while also having that range in the run game. At corner, I would say Stephen F. Austin, Charles Demings was a really big riser. And I think for the Packers in particular, right, it's tricky because they really like that 3-cone at corner.
Yep.
They want guys with those agilities, and most corners didn't take the 3-cone. So we won't have a true feel for whether he's a perfect fit until pro days happen, right? But Charles Demings, if you're looking for, we know the Packers under Goody have really liked explosiveness, long speed, length at corner. And Charles Demings, he's 6'1", 193, 32-inch arms, over 10-inch hands too. So he's got mitts. He can contend at the catch point, 4.41 speed, 42-inch vertical, 11 broad, 1.53 10-yard split. So really explosive, fast, twitchy, agile. And he's a player who's been rising on my board the whole offseason because at the Senior Bowl, he came in, Stephen F. Austin, right? So FCS school, and he was one of the best corners at the Senior Bowl. He was really fluid over top breaks, something that I wanted to see more of. At the FCS level, his film is really good, but there are times where I questioned his fluidity and sync, and I think he really acquitted himself well there. He was competitive at the catch point. He was sticky in coverage, and then at the combine, proving that he's a A+ athlete too. I think he's another one who's rising and could be a target for the Packers in the middle rounds.
We know the Packers love drafting guys from the Senior Bowl. I mean, if you're at the Senior Bowl, you got a chance that the Packers are going to like you. I feel like they draft more Senior Bowl guys than anybody, so that makes sense. So that's a good corner to know from Stephen F. Austin, talking with our guy Ian Cummings, Pro Football Network draft analyst. Right now, follow him on X at IC_draft. Go to ProFootballNetwork.com right now. You'll see all the combine headquarters numbers, stats, everything you possibly can want. Then they have the mock draft simulator on there that I do damn near every night as well. They got the Real GM mock simulator on there too, where you have to make off the field decisions and all of that stuff before you even get to the draft. Then it simulates a season for you. It's so cool. Again, ProFootballNetwork.com. Make sure to check that out. What about defensive tackle? How deep is that position? Are there going to be big dudes in the middle of that line that the Packers can go get to stop the run?
Yeah, I think in terms of nose tackles, I think this class gives you a lot more of what you're looking for. I think this is a class that has a lot of depth at the nose tackle position. It depends on what kind of player type within that mold, though, because there are pure space eaters like a Darrell Jackson Jr., who's 6'5", 340, over 35 inch arms.
That's who I want. Yes.
Yeah, he's just going to occlude interior gaps. He's going to just completely erase all movement, nullify any movement, and make it easier for other players to get one-on-one. So, I mean, if that's what you're looking for, I like that. If you're looking for more of a guy that has a little bit more pass rush use, but isn't quite as big, you're looking at guys like Big Citrus, Dominique Orange, right? Tim Keenan III is a pretty average athlete, but again, I think he has decent linear burst on film, and he's got a little bit of pass rush juice. He's a motor guy for sure. I think Lee Hunter bears noting. Again, I don't know if he'll be there.
He won't be there. Don't do this to me. I like that dude too. I don't think he's going to make it all the way to the bottom of 2. Do you?
Well, here's the thing. His explosiveness testing was pretty rough. And here's the thing, though. I guess if the testing factors in, I don't know if the Packers would take him anyway.
No,
right?
That's why they didn't take Devondre Sweat, by the way. He would have been nice in a Packer uniform.
Another one that'll bring up, though, Nick Barrett from South Carolina. A really good nose tackle. He's stout. He's squatty. He did test very well in the explosiveness drills. And at the Senior Bowl, he was showing a little bit of pass rush juice, too. He's a little stiff in his hips. He's definitely one of those sawed-off guys who's not always super fluid or redirecting. But I love his stacking strength. I think he's another really sturdy guy who's just difficult to uproot. Devin Eastern from Minnesota is another one. He's a little bit bigger. He's more of a forklift power-type nose tackle who's not – he's not super squatty and stout, but he's definitely really tough to move just because he's got that amount of lean mass on his frame. But I also know the Packers like to pair 3-techs with their nose tackles too. So looking at some of the 3-tech disruptors, Caleb Proctor is one who really showed out at the combine. I think he was around 6'3", 291. It was maybe 6'2.5", 291, but 33-inch arms. So we know one thing the Packers really like too: Colby Wooden, Carl Brooks, that kind of mold, guys who are, well leveraged and lean, but also have good proportional length. And then Caleb Proctor, I think he ran a 4.79 40-yard dash, had a really good 10-yard split, and at well over a 30-inch vertical, I think over a 9-foot broad. So explosive player who was a Shrine Bowl standout, showing off that pass rushing ability. He had 9 sacks and 13 tackles for loss in his final season at Southeastern Louisiana. Obviously, the leap from the FCS to the NFL is something that some teams will feel differently about how the acclimation process is going to go. But I think he acquitted himself well at the Shrine Bowl and then proved that he's an A-plus athlete at the NFL Combine. So another player, if they double dip there, Darrell Jackson, Caleb Proctor, that's a gre't combo to have.
I'm all in on that. All in. Maybe you want to go help our guy Goody draft. I got one more question at the end here. It's a 2-part question involving the only 2 Badgers that were at the Combine. And that's Vinny Anthony and Mason Rieger. How did they test?
Yeah, I thought Vinny Anthony tested pretty well relative to what I was expecting from him. I think he's not an elite athlete, and that shows up on film, but I think he tested well enough in the 40. He ran, I think, in the mid 4.5s, I want to say, and then had decent explosiveness drills, right? The appeal with Vinny Anthony is that he's a really, really good, just a utility player, right? He's got a full route tree. He's really savvy as a route runner and fluid, and he's got pretty good catching ability too in a small sample size. I thought that Wisconsin passing offense didn't always showcase his strengths. It was kind of, you didn't always get a chance to take full volume, but he's a heady, cerebral player, really well-rounded, and then a really good blocker too on film. So I think all he needed to do was test above average, and he did that. So that was good for him. I'm fully on board with him as kind of a mid to late day 3 guy who's going to fill out a depth chart and be a really good player. Mason Rieger is a guy who's also risen quite a bit this offseason. He was one of the best edge rushers at the Shrine Bowl, making good use of one-on-ones, showing that pass rush arsenal. And then at the Combine, ran a little bit slower in the 40-yard dash, but had a solid 1.61 10-yard split, 40-inch vertical, 10.5 broad. So that explosiveness testing is really good. And you got a guy who's 6'5", 251, so good size profile, a little bit under 33-inch arms. So shorter length and wingspan, but a guy who, again, is explosive enough, who has the lateral agility to offset tackles and stack counters. And then he's already got that working pass rush arsenal and had really good pass rush efficiency. So I think particularly for teams that have odd and hybrid front alignments, you get him rushing from 7-tech and wide 9 a little more. I think he's going to have a ton of appeal in the early to mid day 3 range. And I think he could be one of the steals of the draft if he can start to gain consistency with his leverage acquisition, because he does drift a little high with his pads sometimes. But a very good player who I think is definitely trending up.
ProFootballNetwork.com. Check it out. Ian, did I miss promoting anything while we were doing this interview? Or is there anything you want to hit on the way out?
No, just the mock draft simulator. We're improving it every day, adding more reports. The goal by the end of the month is to have a report for at least the top 300 players and maybe even more. So we're still adding information. If there's any feedback that you have for the mock draft simulator or the NFL Draft HQ, feel free to hit me up at IC_draft on Twitter, and we'll be responsive. We'll try and get anything that you guys want in there to make it the best product you can make.
Did you see Tom Telesco, the former NFL GM, talking about how he was using mock draft simulators when he was GM and going over different scenarios and then bringing it in to his scouts and his team after he would do mock drafts at night to tell them, hey, if this scenario happens, what do we do? I got to be honest, I didn't really think these front office guys were running mock draft simulators on their own, but apparently they're doing it just as much as fans are.
Yeah, that's some extra motivation to make it the best that we can. Keep it up to date. Because I would like to think it's ours that he's using, but I know there's a lot of great ones out there, so I'm not going to extol the virtues of it. We're just trying to make it the best it can be, and for fans, for GMs if they want to alike, it's all about exploring different outcomes because you never know what's going to happen on draft day. I
love it. Y'all do a great job. Ian Cummings, ProFootballNetwork.com. Follow him on X at IC_draft. You'll hear him some more between now and the draft for sure. Ian, thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Sparky. Talk to you later.
Take care. There is Ian Cummings joining us on the guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. I'm telling you, I have been on this website for the last 3 or 4 years, and by far, this is the best combine coverage I've ever seen them do. Like, you can literally go in here. You can pick by school, by position, whatever you want. It gives you essentially the RAS score. It gives you all the numbers that you potentially could ever want. Combine history, on-field results, official measurements, the mock draft boards, everything that you could want, Charlie. It's pretty cool stuff.
That's pretty awesome. I see why he came in tired when he said he's been beat from the past couple days.
No doubt, man. Doing a ton of work.
Expansive, yeah.
And as a fan, I absolutely think it's worth it.
Very much appreciate it. Yeah.
Thing Sparky missed, brought to you by the Milwaukee Admirals, comes up at 4:40. But up next, how much of a difference would firing Doc Rivers now actually have on the rest of the season? They're 3 games out of a play-in tournament spot right now, behind the Hornets. Giannis returns tonight to take on the Celtics. How much of a difference do you think it would actually make to give Darvin Ham the job, or Rajon Rondo the job, or whoever you want to pick to have that job, Dave Yeager the job? How much of a difference do you think it actually would make if they decided, okay, we're going to fire Doc? Fans want Doc fired? Fine. We're going to pay Doc a lot of money for the next several years just to appease the fans. So my question to you is, how much better do you think it actually will get? Because so many of you are blaming the Bulls game on him last night. So I'm curious. Nicolay Law talking text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250 on the socials at WI Sports Radio. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here. Welcome back. It is Wisconsin Sports Daily. See Sparky Pfeiffer, Charlie Hughes, and other side of the glass. Still to come, spring training live, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, comes up from 5 until 7 o'clock tonight. Tim Allen, the franchise, and Tommy Wirtz getting you all up to date on what happened over the weekend with the Milwaukee Brewers. Lots of good stuff from over the weekend with the Milwaukee Brewers to get to for certain, including the Brewers doing their thing over the weekend with the guy that essentially is the number one prospect in all of baseball at third base. You know, I'm interested to see that highlight courtesy of Brewers TV, I guess we call it. Now, I will say this. I want to see how long Andrew Fisher stays with the war paint on his face. I can't imagine it's going to last very long, but he's got like the deep, long black face paint going down his cheeks and the whole deal, which is very youth level-ish, high school, college. Volunteers did that stuff. They were over the top with their thing. I can't imagine that's going to play in Major League Baseball when he gets up here, but either way. So he's got that going on. And the top half of that inning, dropped the ball, hit right at him. Just dropped. I mean, he went up barely, went right off of his glove behind him, and you could see him. He came back and the camera shows him, and he's just shaking his head like, I can't believe I just dropped that ball. He's wearing like 77, if memory serves correct. I watched that game, and he's going to be good, man. Like, offensively, it's going to be something. Made offensively, it's going to be something. Like, these guys are going to be so stacked offensively. And I call this a gap year for the left side of that infield because that's what I think it is. And then in 27, if they play, depending on what happens with the CBA, you could very well see Made and him on the left side of the infield in 27.
You could. And I think that if they get to the major league level or when they get to the major league level, the Brewers know how to deal with the defensive inefficiencies. Yep. They can make these guys into maybe not Gold Glovers all the time, but at least serviceable defenders. You've seen it time in, time out with this team, no matter really what position is. It's a lot like the pitching. And the other thing, Bryce Harper wears his paint. He draws down his face. So if Bryce Harper does, I mean, it's not just for the youth players.
Bryce Harper has earned it. I'm not quite sure we're at that stage with Andrew Fisher yet. But maybe he'll keep it throughout his playing career. I have no idea.
It's probably because of like Bryce Harper.
Probably,
isn't it kind of crazy to think that like guys like that are having that type of impact? I feel old sometimes.
Not crazy at all. The bat flips and all this other nonsense that occurs. Then you see guys at the youth level doing it, whether it be literally before high school or college. Everybody tries to imitate everybody as far as what they go about. So, again, spring training live tonight, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Tim Allen, Tommy Wirtz tonight, 5 to 7 here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. You guys will enjoy that one for sure tonight. I want to talk about the Milwaukee Bucks. Milwaukee Bucks' last two games have been brutal. Absolutely brutal. And that Bulls game yesterday was just about as bad as you could possibly get. You have a 15-point lead at halftime. And I tweeted out, like, hopefully they don't squander this to start the third, because I did not have a good feeling because they didn't play well really in the last 4 minutes. And then Green finally hit a couple of shots there to get them up to 15. And like, okay, I'm not sure I buy this, though. And sure enough, they absolutely imploded and fell apart in the second half of that game. And then what do you see? Like every other time they lose, it's Doc Rivers' fault. It's all on Doc Rivers. Okay. So here, you tell me. I'll listen. You talk, I listen. Okay? How much of a difference would firing Doc Rivers now, today, let's say, or tomorrow, right? They lose to Boston. Giannis is back tonight, so that'll help. But let's say they announce tomorrow, we're done with Doc. Darvin Ham's your coach. How does that change the rest of the season? How much better are they for the rest of the season? Because if you're firing Doc Rivers, that means you think that you can get on a run in the postseason. If you're firing Doc Rivers, that's what it's telling me. That you think this team should be playing way better than they are, should be able to get on a run in the postseason with Giannis, and Doc is the reason you're being held back. Not talent, not anything else, the coach. So How much of a difference do you think it makes if you fire Doc Rivers today, tomorrow, the next day, for the rest of the season? We're only talking about a month and a half of games left. That's it. This bad boy is done middle of April. They don't make the play-in tournament. They're done. That's it. They make the play-in tournament, then we'll see how far they go. Nikolai Law talking text line 414-677-1250. 414-677-1250. The Milwaukee Bucks said 3 games behind the Hornets right now with Giannis returning tonight. 3 games. Now, have there been positives along this stretch here? Bucks are 8-7 in the last 15 since Giannis went out there towards the end of January. Yes, there's been positives. Kevin Porter Jr., 32 points just a few games ago, right? Having himself a game, doing stuff like that. I like courtesy of FanDuel Sports Network. Byington and Marcus Johnson on the call. He's shown you flashes. Jang, prior to the trade deadline, when they were actually playing him, he showed you flashes. Hasn't shown you as much lately because they don't play him as much necessarily. Kuzma has gotten hot here for a few games in the last couple of weeks as well to give you a little something. Cam Thomas, after they made that trade, showed you something coming off the bench, and that was that guy. And then he got cold for a couple of games as well. So you've seen flashes from different guys that there's some talent there. AJ Green has been what I said he was, which is streaky. And this is what happens with AJ Green. Should he be in the starting lineup? Absolutely not. No, he should not be. But that's the role that they decided to go with, so be it. You get Giannis back tonight. I want to see the starting lineup. I want to see what the starting 5 looks like going forward. This is what I'm fairly confident in. Fairly confident that Miles Turner is at center, Giannis is at the 4, Kuzma is at the 3. Then what will they do at the guard position? Will it simply be Rollins and KPJ continuing and giving them the opportunity to continue going forward with that backcourt? Will it be that AJ Green sees less minutes in favor of Cam Thomas off the bench? Finally, hopefully, we'll see more Cam Thomas. And I know he gets cold, he misses shots, forces shots. I understand. But do get this. When you're a bucket getter, as they like to say about Cam Thomas, you can be ice cold in the first half, Charlie, and you can catch fire right out of the break and look like a completely different player. And when you're this team, you've got to keep playing to see if you can catch fire with him. You just do. Same with Kevin Porter Jr. and Rollins to a degree, I guess. I saw most improved player odds come out the other day, or yesterday, I think it was, or either yesterday or this morning. Ryan Rollins was 3rd at 9-1 in most improved player odds right now. And the reason he's 3rd is because the 2 guys in front of him, teams, seemingly are doing better than the Bucks are, and that would be why he is behind them. Your thoughts, Charlie? How much of a difference do you think firing Doc Rivers now would have on the rest of the season?
I don't think it makes that much of a difference
at
this point. And I said it 2 months ago that if they were going to do it, just do it then. Like, figure this out. Like, you've waited too long at this point. You don't need the Rich Bisaccia situation where you're scrambling to figure something out for the rest of the season, even though it just be Darvin Ham, but that's the same offense. You're just putting yourself in a position where you're doing something in an inopportune time, which just doesn't make any sense for an organization that in the past has already made this mistake a couple of times. So don't do that to yourself again at this point. I think there's something to, and I know we've praised a lot of these guys on this team over the past couple of weeks for having this type of confidence, but I think there's something to getting overconfident with a lot of these players. And I think when they get overconfident and they start making mistakes, like that one pass that Kyle Kuzma had yesterday, that was just atrocious over to Kevin Porter Jr. that just slowed down an entire fast break opportunity for this team, that it gets into their heads and then it crashes them back down to earth and they have to rebuild that confidence. Again, I think Doc Rivers is part of the problem in that, but you can't fire him for that right now. You fire him for that in the offseason. I think Doc Rivers has to find ways to spread the ball around, not just in one game, but just over time, over certain stretches. Have KPJ have his moments and then say, you know what, maybe we do need to get the ball in Cam Thomas's hands more and kind of bring KPJ back down to earth a little bit without forcing him to crash because he ran out of gas at the top.
414 on the Nicolay Law Talk and text line 414-677-1250. The right thing to do would be for Doc to step aside, take a role in the front office, give Ham a chance to coach the last few games of the season so that he could be in a position to take over the team next year. This season is lost. It's time to see what next year looks like. It's time to give Darwin a chance. I will simply say this. If Doc Rivers is done, then they're all done. Like we're not doing this. We're not doing Doc Rivers to the front office. Then you move Horst to whatever position you give him. If Doc's going to be GM, or you make Doc special assistant to the new president that replaced Fagan, or however you decide you're going to maneuver this thing around. Doc's still in the building, and then his guys are still coaching. You're telling me he's not going to have an influence on that coaching staff still, considering he's the one that brought him in? Of course he is. So if you're going to move on from Doc, they all go. I'll say this. One person who I'd be okay with retaining, if you wanted to go in this direction, would be Rondo. If you wanted to give Rondo a chance to be a head coach and see what happens, fine. Go ahead. But you can't make any, in my opinion, you can't make any coaching decisions necessarily for the following season until you know what you're doing with Giannis. Because if this is a full rebuild, I'm not giving anybody any money to coach a rebuild team. I'm not spending any significant money. I'll pay somebody, just above minimum salary in the NBA, which is still a good living, to come coach a rebuild effort. Absolutely, I would do that. But I am not paying somebody a ton of money to come in and coach a rebuild team. Like, I don't want Doc Rivers coaching a rebuild, and I'm sure Doc Rivers doesn't want to coach a rebuild. I'm sure he'd be like, I'm done. I'm retiring. I'm out of here. Or, hey, you want to give me a front office job? All right, I'll go sip some coffee and watch from upstairs. Maybe he takes that, but he doesn't want to go through a rebuild for 5 to 10 years or whatever this thing ends up being. No chance. But what you would get is a guy that wants his first head coaching opportunity to prove that he can do it and have really no expectations, because there's going to be none on the Milwaukee Bucks. I promise you, if that dude is moved, nobody will expect them to be outside of the bottom 5 in the East next year if Giannis is gone. So now all of a sudden, a guy that seemingly can't get a head coaching job, no matter how long he's been an assistant, like Sam Cassell, now all of a sudden that becomes a thing, right? I'm bringing Sam Cassell back. Bucks fans like me get excited. All right, Sam's back, right? And you know what's great about Sam Cassell? No filter. So you bring Sam Cassell back, let's see what it looks like. If it's not Sam Cassell, if it's Rajon Rondo, cool. If he's up for teaching the young guys how to play defense, showing guys how to play the point guard position, showing guys how to work with one another and all of that, and Rondo's going to be the guy, I'm fine with that too. But I'm not fine with Darvin Ham. I'm not fine with Dave Yeager. I'm not fine with Doc Rivers. I don't want any of these old retread guys that have had their run. I want it to be somebody that's never been a head coach, that's a former player, that these guys are going to get behind, that are coming straight out of college and being asked to go play a significant role right away. That's what I want.
And I think players like Rajon Rondo, they do hold a special place for these guys that are starting to come out of college, or guys that are fresh out of college at this point. Guys my age that watched Rajon Rondo when he was in his prime know that he was an awesome player and that he had that floor general mentality. That's somebody that's worth looking up to a lot of these guys. And I think bringing in a Dave Yeager or even an older player, like I think to some degree Sam Cassell is almost out of that range too, and he's had his opportunities in the past. It truly has to be this Rajon Rondo, that type of guy. That's why the Nets gave Steve Nash a shot. That's why the Trailblazers gave Chauncey Billups a shot.
Jason Kidd with the Nets.
Now all these teams haven't worked out as well, but I think there is a higher likelihood moving forward that if you've had a guy in your system for a while now, that you can trust that he can get the job done. Steve Nash wasn't in that system for a while before he got the head coaching job. Chauncey Billups was only in that system for a year before he got the head coaching job. This is something where you know this guy and you think he can do that, go and do that. But you also just can't go out and give a random dude that opportunity just because he's a former player.
Q on YouTube must just be tuning in. Didn't hear the first segment of the show. Giannis is coming back tonight, and we are dragging the coaching staff. Yes, it's something new. Nobody's asked for Doc Rivers to be fired the entire season. Sparky came up with it on his own today, decided to do on Wisconsin Sports Daily after the most embarrassing loss of the season to the Bulls. Yes, Q. Just made it up out of thin air. That's exactly what happened. And Q, if you think for a second that all of a sudden with Giannis, they're going to go like 20-5 or something crazy like that with this team all of a sudden, no, it's just not going to be that. It's just not. Q again, just questioning the timing on a happy day for the Bucks. Listen, first of all, Sharani is the one that had that report that he's playing tonight. Name had he's questionable, as has everybody else. Now, if he plays, great. If he plays and he's playing 20 minutes a night and he's on limited minutes, which has happened the last time, then is it as exciting? I don't know. There's going to be a transition, I think, as far as these guys playing together again. There just is. And they're playing the Celtics. No Tatum, no Jaylen Brown tonight. Now, if this is Giannis, this should be a win, right? Do I think it's a guaranteed win? Nope. I sure the hell don't. I do not. I hope it is. I hope they all play great, right? Wouldn't it be nice? Giannis gets 30. Kevin Porter Jr. gets 20, 25. Rollins gets 20. Portis 15 off the bench. Cam Thomas 15 off the bench. The offense looks like a well-oiled machine. That is perfect scenario for the Milwaukee Bucks. I would love to see it. With all due respect to that scenario, I got super excited the last time they got hot, and then they lost the next two and made me look like a fool. So maybe I'm crazy to be cautious here, but I'm being really cautious with expectations of, yes, Giannis is coming back, but A, will he be able to stay healthy to the playoffs, or will he grab his calf again and be gone for the rest of the year? And B, how much of an effect will he have by the minutes that he actually is able to go out there and play? Now, if he comes back tonight and plays 32 minutes, and they're like, no minutes restrictions, we fixed him, he's good, and he plays 32 minutes a night the rest of the year, okay, well, that increases your chances of winning games, providing everybody's not standing with hands on hips watching him play every night, and the ball stops and there's no ball movement. Because the last two games, the spacing's been crap. There hasn't been a lot of passing going around like there was when they were winning. All of that's changed. And that leads us back to Doc Rivers again. That's where we started the whole conversation. Okay. Coming up next, things Sparky missed. Brought to you by the Milwaukee Admirals. Lots to get to there. We're probably not going to have a ton of time, but we'll cover as much as we can. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from Wisconsin Sports Radio Network Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Reserve your seats now, people. Reserve them now. Nominal fee goes towards your food and beverage costs for the night. And again, it's a 2 levels of seating. It's amazing. You have a 2,000 square foot screen that has over 30 sporting events on at one time, 48 beers on tap, dozen different specialty cocktails, full menu at the Potawatomi Sportsbook, homemade desserts and pastries, all-day brunch. You cannot beat it. Best sportsbook in the Midwest. Check them out today. Potawatomi Sportsbook. More info at Potawatomi.com. Must be 21 to enter the casino. Welcome back. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily. See Sparky Pfeiffer, Charlie Usen over there. Coming up here in about 10 minutes, Spring Training Live with Tim Allen and Tommy Wirtz. Spring Training Live, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Tonight from 5 to 7. Each night this week from 5 to 7. Charlie Usen producing that show. So I'm projecting Tim Allen will hate Charlie by the end of the week if he asks Charlie anything as far as, how he lives life.
Maybe we can be like frenemies, That'll be the nice dynamic moving forward.
It doesn't sound like you agree with a lot of how Tim acts, so I'm not quite sure it's going to go
it's
that
not that I hate how Tim acts. It's just not how I would act in certain situations.
Correct. With that said, let's go here.
What story did Sparky miss talking about today on Wisconsin Sports Daily? Don't you worry. Sparky's got you covered now. Don't miss Milwaukee Admirals hockey this season. Don't just buy tickets. Invest in memories at MilwaukeeAdmirals.com.
I will say that I retweet quite a bit of stuff, or repost, whatever you want to say on X nowadays. Mark Miller from Wisconsin Basketball Yearbook does a great job. Tweeted this out earlier today. I retweeted it and got all kinds of responses back. Due to overscheduling of games, Random Lake has been told by the WIAA that it must forfeit its WIAA D4 regional quarterfinal contest Tuesday with Ozaki. The Rams played 25 regular season games and rules allow just 24. Random Lake self-reported its error and the WIAA ruled it must forfeit.
Why don't they just erase one of the games against a bad team or something? I feel like that makes more sense. Why do you have to forfeit everything?
How do you not know how to count to 24?
Well, I get it. I don't think you should be punished for
forfeiting. Do you not know how to count to 24? Athletic director, coach, maybe they're the same person. How do you not know to count to 24?
How does the WIA not notice that first? Earlier.
Fair.
That's the other thing. You go back at them. How do you not notice that?
You can very well say that. Everybody's mad at the WIA in this thing. I'm sorry, with all due respect, nobody should be mad at anybody other than Random Lake should be mad at themselves for not being able to count to 24. I mean, you get to one game over at some point, man. Even if you're looking at records, you're like, oh, crap. We're going to be over. We better do something. Forfeit a conference game or something at the end just to make it right. I don't know, but boy, they screwed that up.
I think, again, that's a little harsh by the WIA to take away the entire title.
But whatever you want to say it is, I'm just telling you that's something else. I've never seen that before. And I've covered college basketball or high school sports for quite a while back in the day. I've never seen anything like that, but I've not seen this either. It's time for change. And remember, he took them to court. He took NASCAR to court. He won. And now his team, which has Denny Hamlin on it, has won 3 in a row with Tyler Reddick. Amazing story. Amazing story. Because Michael Jordan's teams have not been all that good in NASCAR to this point. Amazing story. Happy for Michael Jordan for sure. Coming up next, Spring Training Live with Tim and Tommy from 5 until 7. That'll do it for Wisconsin Sports Daily. Live from Wisconsin Sports Radio Network Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Have a good night, Wisconsin. Toodles!